Welcome everybody to episode 4. We're on 4.
Yeah.
We're on 4. So since rebooting the podcast, we've been Tim, AJ, and I. Today we have 2 more big Nintendo fans on my right. We have Bill right here, and then we also have Anthony and his lizard.
Salutations, YouTube land.
It is spooky season. We're happy about spooky season.
Officially entering spooky season. Now, we had a direct a couple weeks ago, and we only record every couple weeks, so we're behind, but that's not my problem. So again, welcome to the TheOddSauce. AJ, Tim, myself, Bill, and Anthony. I don't know why I skipped over Anthony and Bill. All right, so that direct came out of nowhere. Every direct, I don't know why they keep doing it, but every direct, put the food away.
Yeah, sure.
Wah, wah.
So every direct gets dropped the night before, and it does not make sense to me. Do you think it's just so they don't leak it?
Yeah. Think about it. When was the last time a Nintendo Direct has been leaked?
Every single time.
I think the Smash one.
Every single time.
Every single time.
I mean, come
Remember
on.
the Smash one?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Mario Wonder got leaked. Mario RPG got leaked.
What?
The new Princess Peach game got leaked. Yeah.
Okay,
I
I didn't know.
that.
I didn't know Peach got leaked.
Now, I don't really pay attention to the leaks anymore, but you can go back and look, and there's people within 2 weeks of it saying, "Oh, this is everything coming out." And then the week before, there was an entire list of every game that was going to get dropped on the
Oh wow.
at the date and time. So that still happens. I guess it's so that people don't leak the whole thing and confirm it.
Yeah. What? What did I do? Alright, so I'm not going to plug for real this
All
time.
right, so we got Mario RPG.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to have
Mario
a
Mario
look.
RPG was the one I was so excited for. I was so excited
Me too.
because that game is so expensive on the Super Nintendo,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I really want to play it.
Well, it came out for the Virtual Console, and now we can have that discussion about the Virtual Console come ever so close, because I was so upset with Nintendo whenever they decided to pull Virtual Console from the Switch. I feel they owe us that. Any game I bought on the Virtual Console, from the day I bought it until Nintendo goes bankrupt, they owe me that game on every console that comes out.
Oh, yeah, because, the eShop just shut down, 6-7 months ago? And I
Yeah.
was
For the
remembering.
3DS and the
Yeah.
Wii U, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for 3DS and Wii U, and that's it. That was our last virtual console.
From the Wii to the Wii U, you were able to buy Nintendo 64 all the way back to NES.
Yep.
And I had bought a bunch of stuff.
I did that on the
I
Wii.
had Super Mario RPG, Paper Mario 64, all that stuff.
Yep.
And them switching from the Virtual Console where you could buy all of that and then just transferring it over to saying, well, now you have to pay monthly for the games that you already bought most of, and then the other games that we're adding value to have no value.
Do you think that this is how would I put it?
This is why I buy physical.
Well, absolutely, but do you think they're removing the eShops because they're planning to re-release some of these older games?
Oh, absolutely. So they've gotten bad press because when Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, when they remade it, they took it off the eShop, so you couldn't buy it on the Wii U anymore. Same thing with Pikmin. They pulled it off for a little bit of time, and they caught so much heat that they put it back on. But it was discounted, so they took that off so people couldn't go back and buy a game that was getting remade or remastered or anything like that. So Nintendo had a little bit of bad press for that nonsense, and I think that's pretty shizzy. Do feel free to hop in at any point, but that's one of the things that frustrated a lot of people, but especially me. I bought all these virtual titles so that thinking going forward, Nintendo would always have a virtual console on every system, and then I would have this library of games that I'd be able to play on each new console, because there were certain games that, like Donkey Kong Country, my plan was every time they bring out a new console, I'm going to 101% Donkey Kong Country on every console that ever comes out for
Get
Nintendo.
1%?
101%.
Oh, okay.
Because there's one little
why.
secret room that gets you the 101.
See, I'm glad I'm not that person. Like, I'm a completionist, but to complete to 100% every version of a game that releases on every console is just a bit much to
So-
me. But I like how you can, like, if I wasn't able to play a game on the Super Nintendo back in the day, I can go back and play that game. That's what I like about what they're doing. But hang on, I'm getting off track.
No, it's fine. With the NSO, you have all these Super Nintendo NES titles. There are titles that were on the Virtual Console that they have not brought back to NSO yet. There's a good bit of them. And the problem is, Virtual Console, I didn't like the price of some of the stuff because they had Nintendo 64 games they wanted $20, $25, $30 for. And it's just like, no.
It's better than 100 they go for, though.
Yeah.
Like most
But
definitely.
for a virtual, especially when I can emulate them,
I think
Yeah.
it was
Which-
emulated.
which that's a whole conversation. I'm not advocating for piracy unless you just Try
Nintendo
to-
is though.
yeah, Nintendo's
Nintendo wants
advocating
you
for
to
piracy
emulate their games
themselves.
because they won't.
They'll DNC you
if
if
they
you-
want
They're
you-
totally against it, but everything they do is like, you're just making it easier for us.
Well,
It's just,
Yeah.
It's
Well,
all
I-
out there. They know it's out there. Make it easier. Because an NES game, if you ever charge more than $5 for an NES title virtually, I'm not going to buy it. That is
Right.
a waste of my money. I think the $5 is kind of a waste. It should be free at this point, just like it was. Did you have to have NSO to get the NES stuff?
what do you
I think it's
yeah.
like the Super
It's
Nintendo
included.
stuff. The
So-
NES stuff is already there.
The NES and SNES are in the base Nintendo Switch Online.
yeah, that's like the
Yeah.
it's like the $7.99.
Yeah,
a
like
month
the base
thing.
package, you can get like the
expansion
NES and
pack.
like the regular Game Boy, but like the expansion pack gives you like the Super Nintendo and like Game Boy Advance games.
Because a game
No,
that I can play on
it's
my
the 64,
on my
Sega, and the
TI-83,
Game Boy Advance.
Right.
a
there
game
you
that I
go.
can play on a TI-83 should not cost me any money. So now let's see how quickly we can emulate Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so I get it for free.
on your
Yeah.
TID.
Nerd.
Yeah, calculator.
Oh, that's
games
only on the
there.
TI-84 Plus. I'm sorry.
Mm.
I
I
cheat
don't have
out.
that one. I don't have that
I cheat
kind
Man,
out.
you remember Block Dude? Oh, I used to play that all the time. I didn't learn any math.
So when I was
I did not game on a calculator.
dude.
The only thing I ever did on a
I figured out
calculator
how to do that
was-
in class.
I figured out how to
didn't
do-
learn any
I
calculus.
figured out how to spell poop
Oh, man.
and hell.
no. So
I
when I
saw
got to
boobs, I thought it was
college,
the funniest
we
thing.
were allowed
Oh yeah,
to
boobs. I forgot.
we were allowed to use
Boobies.
TI-83s and 4s and stuff.
Yeah,
And you can put
TI-83.
programs of your class on it, so it did all the problems for you. It's just like enter the numbers pretty much, and then it would solve it for you.
You can
I
reprogram
avoided
that
those
calculator.
math
Because
classes.
because the problem was when I got to college, everything was on. What were all the math classes on? What's the program called?
Paper.
No, it
What?
wasn't on paper. It was all.
Projector.
No, it was all on a
Overhead
computer program.
projector?
Yeah, they do not like
PowerPoint?
the
I can't remember
I
what the
just
program
did it. I know
title
what you're talking
is.
about. Oh no, I can't think of it right
Blackboard.
now.
No, that was
Moodle.
not Moodle.
Moodle. Yeah, Moodle.
When you took math like 301, 360, whatever it was, college algebra 101, that you would have to go sit in the library for 4 hours.
I was
each
playing
week.
Yeah.
Block Dude. I don't remember.
see when I did that those classes. This is
I'll
like
figure it
a long
out.
time
I
ago.
really don't know. I'm so sorry.
2004, 2005 was when I last took a math class. And we
Yeah,
didn't do
like
any
I
of that.
graduated and I got an art degree where I was only required to take like 3 math classes, and one of the classes I took was math theory,
You had to take 3? I
something
only took
like
2.
that. It was like one of the classes I took was math theory.
I took
where
an
we didn't
algebra
even-
and elementary.
I figured out it
statistics.
qualified, and what I did it was
Right.
it wasn't even math. It was we talked about math, and that was the class.
We talked about math or meth.
No math. Like it was math theory. It was like we talked about mathematical.
So like 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2.
no,
It's
like,
just a
like we
theory.
learned what
of
binary
theory.
was, but we didn't have to
Just
do
a
it.
Theory.
We learned that this is what trigonometry is, but we didn't actually do trigonometry. We just learned mathematical concepts. I think that was actually the name of the
Oh.
class. Mathematical concepts. And I was like, this is the class for me. I'm
I
gonna
like
take
math
this,
theory better.
get out of my minimum requirement for my major, and
I
yeah.
cannot
And I
remember.
dropped out.
But the problem with
I
my math
graduated.
classes in college were
I couldn't go
it
back.
was all on a
You didn't
web
finish well? I
program.
thought you did.
Nope.
We had
Yes.
classes together.
It was all on a web program. Was the
I'm
first
sorry.
problem. The second problem was the classes were different from the homework, were different from the quiz, were different from the test. Because this thing was in my mind for the longest time because it was so traumatizing. So I took math twice and then went to the community college to take that math that's paired up with Southeastern NTCC, North Shore Technical Community College. I would take their math because it was on pen and paper. You didn't have to use the website, the online program. So it went from like barely being able to pass, or failing, and then I got an 8, just because it was pen and paper.
So
Should we-
It's magical.
Should we
It's
go
magical.
back into
dyslexia.
Nintendo?
Oh yeah. Now back to Nintendo. Mario RPG
Yeah.
played on TIA3s around the world now.
Never played it, but I want to play it. I'm excited for the redo.
I
Yes,
remember playing
and
it
it looks
back in the
fantastic.
90s.
Okay,
I'm hoping
but do
that
you
it-
also remember how the way it looks now felt like that's how it looked way back then? It looked that good back then, right? You know what I mean?
That was revolutionary
Yeah.
for the Super Nintendo.
do
Actually,
like-
for Nintendo, period.
Because
Well,
you
that
had
game
Donkey
was-
Kong Country that looked extremely good because of how they rendered their sprites.
Super FX chip.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then you had Mario RPG that came out, and it's just you also have these 3D-esque looking models on a 2D plane, and it was like,
Yep.
What I'm
this
interested
looks
in learning about this is how they came to an agreement, because they made that originally for the Super Nintendo with Square, which is now Square Enix. But I'm wondering how they got permission to. I guess they're cooperating. I mean, they've always had a good relationship with that company.
But I thought,
Oh, it's just
Since
like with
the
Capcom
N64
making the Zelda games
But-
for the Game Boy Advance.
but that was that. I think Mario RPG was what probably broke them, because after that it was nada.
Maybe.
Weren't they not happy with each other for the longest time?
it was only the N64 era because they weren't happy with the fact that they stuck to cartridges, and Square was actively making games where
they
were
wanted
gonna
you to.
need-
They
they
wanted.
didn't have enough space for these games, so
Right.
they went with Sony and made a bunch of games for the PlayStation.
They want to talk about. They wanted to talk about having
They
a format that had
back.
more space storage for their games, even though they had to have 4 discs for a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, but each disc had how many megabytes, hundreds of megabytes of space on it, whereas one
Right.
N64 cartridge had not even 100 megabytes. It was
64?
that's the bit rate, but it wasn't
Yeah.
I'm talking about storage capacity on the cartridges themselves. I don't know the exact number, but it was not very much space. So they wouldn't have been able to fit it. And Nintendo also had a rule where they were like, if you can't fit it on one cartridge, you can't release it. There's no multi-cartridge N64 game.
So
Right
Banjo
before.
Kazooie was interesting
But
because 4 megabit Rhombus RDR RAM, 4 to 64 megabyte game pack and storage, and then the removable storage was another 32 kilobytes. But so Banjo Kazooie had a feature called Stop and Swap. So you collected secrets in the first game that were going to transfer over to Banjo Tooie, because once they had that Donkey Kong 64 additional pack, whenever you unplugged the game, storage saved there. You had like a 10-second span where there was still storage from the first game. Data still there before it timed out, pretty much.
oh, you're talking
So-
about sneaky stuff.
Yeah, so they had a thing where you would collect stuff in the first game, and then you would swap it and put it in the second game, and you would get if you got the bonuses in the first game, they would transfer over to Banjo-Tooie. So they had done that, and then Nintendo said absolutely not, because then that makes us liable for broken cartridges. Selfie.
Oh,
First, let me take a
man.
selfie.
You want to be in this real quick? I'm sponsoring us through my social media.
Sponsoring us.
Ooh.
Oh.
Through my social media.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Sponsored by AJ. Y'all just want to do something funny? Wow. Okay, that's good enough.
I don't think I was even
I'll
looking.
drop the
3
link
for
on
the
it.
girls.
I need to step out just for a second. 4 big
Where-
guys.
Where you going?
doing?
Where you see? Let's see. Just un momento. I'll be right back.
I have to also check a voicemail whenever he gets back. Should take like a second though.
Unprofessional. Everybody.
Yeah,
Alright.
well, life.
So we had Mario RPG. Now I played it. I never 100%ed it. So now I'm gonna finally get an opportunity to 100% it.
I'm excited. I'm excited for 2 reasons. Because 1, I really want to play this game, and I'm a collector, and I love it. 2, because I'm a collector, I'm hoping that it'll drive the price of the Super Nintendo game down, because I still want to get a copy of the original one. I just want it. It looks nice.
Absolutely.
It's not that expensive now. It's like $89, $90.
And it should drop down even more.
I wanted it. If it goes down to like the $50 range, I'll probably jump on it.
Yeah.
Go to a pawn shop. pawn shop right down the road has a stack of Super Nintendo and 64 games like this, tightly packed in their case.
At one point, I
So
went
many
there.
of them. Who knows?
So at one point I had gone, and there used to be a guy at Bayou Pawn who he overcharged all the video game stuff because there was a point where everything was hella expensive. So like there was the Kirby 30th anniversary or whatever for the Wii, the Dream Collection. I went in there, it was $15, and my dumb butt didn't buy it. And I went in a couple days later. They wanted $80 for it.
Kiss
Then
my ass.
Then it was gone
Sorry,
the next time I
language.
came back because all the games were ridiculously expensive. For shit that was like sports games for Xbox 360, they wanted $25 for it. The lowest anything was in that cabinet was that much, and then it dropped back down.
Yeah.
Because there was also a Ganondorf. There was a Wii U Wind Waker edition with the Ganondorf figure.
I remember you telling me
That
about
was
that.
that was
I
like
saw
it's
that.
$25.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it right now, man. $225.
They had to add that extra 2 on there.
Yeah.
And
No, I thought it was $22.50, and it's like no, it's $225. Like, yeah, I don't want that.
wow. That's nuts.
The next item on this list, though, Mario Wonder.
Oh, I'm very excited about this one.
Yeah.
Mario,
Our first brand new Mario.
our
What were you gonna
2D.
say?
I don't think they can't drop the ball that hard on this one. Come on, the power-ups look fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
So I
I'm
never get
excited.
super excited for 2D Mario.
I don't understand.
Because
the
after Mario Deluxe and then Mario Deluxe U and all that stuff, I kind of stopped really paying attention to Mario until they had Odyssey, and then Odyssey was where I freaked out and was
Still
ready.
waiting on Odyssey 2, baby.
I still play Odyssey every now.
I'm still
and then.
waiting on
I
Sunshine.
love that
Super
game.
Mario
There's
Sunshine
so much to do in
That
that
didn't
game.
come out with 3D All-Star?
Isle Delfino is where it's at. I love Super Mario Sunshine.
Dude, the music, the gameplay, everything was good except that freaking pachinko game. Oh.
I could listen to that all day. I love that game.
And
And all the
What's
guys
really
just
great?
kinda-
No, what's really great is when you hear that. Listen to that in lo-fi.
Yes.
Ooh, I would like
Listening
that.
to all there's an entire soundtrack. Oh yeah.
But what I was wondering about
Oh,
Super
he
Mario
said it.
Wonder.
He said it.
So in that game, people were already speculating when the direct happened that Mario in the game didn't really sound like Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
And what I was wondering
Because
is,
it's not?
they later announced that he was retiring, but they didn't announce that when the direct happened.
Yeah.
And what I'm wondering is, who is playing him now? Do we know? Have they announced that?
They're not going to announce it until the game drops.
Okay, because I'm just like, well then, if not, I mean, it's not Chris Pratt.
Because you, oh no, because it's
I will die if it actually is.
No, so good thing they didn't use, or they redid that trailer one, the first trailer that came out for the Mario movie, because whenever he skids on the Mario Kart and he's like, wahoo! And it's
Actually,
like, no. It's like, you use that, I will burn this place to the ground.
I watched the movie though, and I didn't hate it. I was like, okay,
No, I loved it.
I thought he
Every
was
second of it
fine.
was great.
He wasn't as bad as people thought he was going to be. Also, Charlie Day was great as Luigi.
He is
we
the
need to talk about
perfect
that more.
Luigi.
That was a
He
true
is-
Brooklyn Italian right there.
Man,
Princess Peach.
I'm biased, of course, because I love It's Always Sunny, but
Oh, yeah.
like he's just man. I was like,
Charlie
oh,
Day
yes.
is just great.
He's
So
always good.
he was fantastic. Peach was awesome. The Toad was great. Jack Black as Bowser.
Phenomenal.
Chef's kiss. That dude deserves an Emmy for that shit.
Peaches,
Peaches.
I love
Oscar,
you.
yeah.
Oscar,
Emmy's
not
the
Emmy.
music. Sorry.
I mean, he can
deserves
do
a-
the full EGOT.
No,
I don't care.
No, for Peaches, he deserves an
it.
Emmy. For Bowser, he deserves
he does.
an Oscar.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the song Peaches.
That is an Oscar-worthy song.
I mean,
That's an
I don't
Emmy.
blame-
Best
I mean, I
song.
don't blame you,
Best
like,
original.
Emmy,
Wait,
Oscar.
Wait, Emmy's
Awards.
is music, right? Emmy's is music.
No, that's Grammy.
Grammy.
Emmy's like everything.
Oh.
Emmy's like
That's why
everything.
They make a
TV.
TV series out of it because
I
you'll win
was-
that too.
Yeah, but he can EGOT. Like that's where you get the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony. He's got to go on Broadway for that one, but. I
Bro.
think, yeah.
So whenever they did that little music video of Peaches and he was dressed up, he had the
Yeah.
little
I,
Yes.
think, I think Jack Black could do
And
it.
then he
can do
wore
it.
that
He can do a full
again
EGOT.
for the Video Game Awards.
yes, and I was like,
Yes.
yes,
Amazing.
Somebody who's committed
Amazing.
to the role.
yeah. Okay, but Jack Black, that's his whole thing.
Yeah,
is
he does that
doesn't
every
matter how
time.
stupid the position is, He will sell it, and that's what makes it good.
Go from Kung Fu Panda, the Lemmy from Shark Tale. Come on,
True
now.
Yeah.
professional.
But you want to know? So on Jack Black, when he started acting, it was not Jack Black.
Y'all remember that?
Like his first acting roles in the '90s were so not.
Wasn't
what
he in
we
one of
know
the
him
Never-Ending
as.
Story movies? Wasn't he like one of the bullies?
I do not remember.
I feel like he was.
But I remember he did a role. He was in Mars Attacks. He
Yeah,
played,
he got murked.
yeah, he got murked.
He got
Quick.
murked on TV.
He was in a movie called The Jackal with Bruce Willis, where
Yeah.
he got murked also.
I mean, he was a young actor. He was
a young
working.
actor, and he did a small
Paying
role
his dues.
also in Enemy of the State with Will Smith. But he didn't become Jack Black that we know
I know
until
what
High
you're talking-
Fidelity.
High Fidelity.
with
Yep.
John
Dude, I
Cusack.
love that movie too. Oh,
It was
man.
such a good movie. It's so funny.
What's funny is like I collect vinyl records, and when they started like talking, and like that one part where they come to his house and he's like organizing his records,
Yeah.
and they're like, "How are you organizing them? Are you by genre, alphabetical?" And he's like, "Nah, autobiographical." And I was like, "Oh!" And they were both reacting
Whoa!
the same way. I was like, "That's amazing! I love it."
Yes. Yes. But when he started singing at the end of that movie, I'm like, this is the Jack Black we know. That's when he started Tenacious D with
Yeah.
I was just about
He
to
was
say.
Yeah.
It was
fantastic in
Tenacious
that.
D whenever he
Yeah.
got that stage character.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now, Mario movie 2, if Wario comes in, who will be Wario?
Ooh.
You know they got
More importantly,
I have
who will
one.
be Waluigi?
I have one.
I want to know Waluigi. You got to bring him in too.
Yeah, but
Got to.
You got
Wario,
to.
Wario I have one person and one only.
If you say Dan.
Oh no. It's
Danny
gonna-
DeVito.
Oh my god.
Danny
Oh,
DeVito.
no.
Dude, Danny DeVito is like the choice for every, you know.
No, but okay.
I mean,
so he would have made a great Detective
it's not
Pikachu.
wrong.
And when Ryan Reynolds was announced, I was like, but he made it work.
I don't know. I'm wondering if he's getting tired of like being
Typecasted? Being
Yeah.
typecasted? Yeah.
I mean,
I would too.
Okay,
he's a serious actor. He could do serious roles if
can
he
do
wants.
serious
He hasn't,
If he
been in,
wants to,
he hasn't
yeah.
been in anything serious in like 20 years.
Well,
but he
what
does
was the last
he
serious
does
thing
so
he
good
did?
at the comical, blunt
the
stuff.
finale
he would
of season
be a
13
fantastic
of It's
warrior.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia, he was like serious for like a brief moment, and it was like so good. It was so good. Oh man.
Because he was just in Haunted Mansion, and he was great. The problem was I felt like they put a leash on him because they had all these people, and I feel like they didn't do the thing where a lot of these series are best at, where they let them go off script a little bit. I felt like everyone was chained down. Because you had, Owen Wilson?
Oh,
And
I know.
Wow.
he was kind of just a wimp the whole time. He was a whiny little beast the whole time. You had Danny DeVito that he had a couple funny moments, and it was just like, but you had him on screen so much, and he just stood there.
What are you talking about? I lost track.
The new Haunted Mansion.
I haven't
I
seen
didn't
it.
watch that. Sorry.
I haven't seen it. I'm
Yeah.
very leery
So,
about
over-
projects like
overall,
that.
I
the
liked
Disney
it.
Plus projects.
Overall, I liked it. The main
After Hocus
story,
Pocus 2, yeah.
the guy that was the main character, the main story going on, I didn't care about because you had these other people that I wanted to see more of instead of them. They completely overshadowed the main story. They tried. I don't know who those people were. I don't know. But it was boring. Other than when they were on screen. Now, so Mario movie 2, Waluigi, Willem Dafoe.
Oh my! I see it.
I
now.
see
You
it.
You shouldn't have said.
I think
anything.
you're just going by.
I see it, but
by
I can't
real
hear
life
it.
actors who look like these.
No.
characters.
But his voice. All right, but his voice.
What if he was
it's
Waluigi?
scratchy. That's what I said, Waluigi. Or did I say Wario?
I thought you said Mario.
You
Oh,
said
no.
Waluigi.
Yeah, it meant
No.
Waluigi.
Did you? I
Wa-
thought you
so-
said Wario.
so
I'm sorry,
imagine-
scratch that.
Imagine Wario and Waluigi, Danny DeVito and Willem Dafoe.
No, I couldn't accept it. I couldn't.
I
live
consider
in this
myself a
world.
bit of a plumber too.
Maybe not Danny DeVito, but definitely Willem Dafoe as Waluigi.
I already think it's cursed that we glossed over Seth Rogen, DK. Like,
I don't want to talk about that because he was the only one I didn't like.
yeah.
Him and Cranky Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Cranky Kong.
I don't think he did anything that was that offensive as Donkey Kong, but I also didn't think he like
was
really stood
just-
out that much.
My
to me.
problem
Because he was Seth Rogen.
He just was Seth Rogen.
I don't
Harry
know.
Seth
That's
Rogen.
all he is, and everything he does is Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I like Seth Rogen. I don't.
I
have
I
anything
do
against
too,
him.
but
I don't dislike Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's been one of my favorite characters growing up. It was
I
my
just-
first video game, which is why I want a 100% Donkey Kong on every console
So-
that I can. But my thing was that Donkey Kong was a big character in the show, in the movie, and it was like there was nothing really to it.
I'm
It was
apprehensive.
just Seth Rogen.
If I'm apprehensive about anything, it's that. Do you remember the Donkey Kong like animated cartoon?
Yes,
that
I
used to
loved
come
it.
on?
It was
I
horrendous,
do
but
not.
I loved it.
It was terrible.
That was a thing. I don't
Yes.
remember that at all.
The musical numbers were so good.
That's what I was gonna say. Donkey Kong had
Banana
some pipes.
Slima.
He
Yeah.
had pipes.
Yeah,
so
he
it's like
can
I don't
sing.
know if Seth Rogen can sing.
So there was
like
a
that.
CGI.
I mean, maybe he
series in
can.
there.
I
Was
don't
it
know.
the-
Seth Rogen,
was
if
it
you're
the
watching,
early-
hey.
It was the early
Also,
90s.
welcome.
It was the early
but-
90s, and it was the Banana Slammer.
Yeah, like
But you had Donkey Kong, Diddy
I've
Kong,
never
Cranky
heard him
Kong,
sing,
Pinky
so I'm just
Rool, all the
wondering.
Kremlins, all voice acted,
man.
doing little
3D animated.
early 90s.
Why have I not known about
It's
this?
so
Yeah,
good.
definitely add that to your like to watch list.
Yes.
I'm gonna look it up
It's-
right now.
It's horrendous, but there is a song every episode.
Yeah, and it
There's
was
two.
great.
There's
Why do you
actually
keep
2
doing
songs
this?
every episode.
3 if you
Yeah.
count the intro.
Yeah, 3 if you
That
count
is
the
crazy.
end.
Because
Donkey Kong.
I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening
Oh,
to me. I'm getting all the blame for things I didn't.
Oh dear Lord!
Yeah.
it's horrendous.
I mean, it's not good, but it's
No,
good.
no.
It
I
is.
wish that we could throw. I
It's
could
like-
throw this
it was-
picture up.
It could
but
use
that-
a remaster.
Yeah,
it could use a remaster.
It was Donkey Kong and the Crystal Legend
But
of the
yeah,
Crystal
like,
Coconut
oh,
was the
man.
series,
Oh no!
but it was fantastic. Imagine little kid you that can't tell the difference between good animation and bad animation, and you're just like, Donkey Kong, my hero's on screen, Banana Slammer boy, let's go.
That show was the stuff.
See,
Yeah.
when I think of early animation like that in the '90s, I think of Beast Wars, Transformers. That
Oh
was
yeah,
the
I think
peak.
that came on around the same time.
I think of cookie jar animation, like y'all saw the Sonic Underground, slash Mario, where the Super Mario rap came from. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. With the Mario Brothers.
Now-
Clemens, a game.
Because
Get
second
off
Mario movie,
me.
don't know what they're gonna do. I have no idea what the story would be. You got Lumily, which was probably my favorite part. I just want to die. More meat for the grinder.
Oh man.
That was so great. But yeah, so for Wario, Waluigi, those are my people, 100%. If they were to have more Donkey Kong people, because Diddy Kong's already voice.
Yeah, for one line they gave him.
Yeah.
They need to bring in Daisy.
Well,
We
yeah.
need to go. We need to go to
Well, I was-
Terrazaland.
If they bring in like Wario and Waluigi, that's like foils to Mario and Luigi. There needs to be. I don't know. There's not really a foil to Peach, but Daisy could be like a rival / friend.
Yeah.
Frenemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could show up.
Because she doesn't really have any. She doesn't have much lore or anything.
She doesn't, except for the.
I think it would be symmetrical.
Well, I mean, if you want to go back to the original Super Mario Brothers movie that
Oh.
people
Oh.
want to forget about.
Yeah,
no,
we don't talk about
we'll
that.
leave that one on the side. No, I watched it, and it's like you were about to play a Mario game and then snorted
Yeah.
cocaine and watched Blade Runner or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was just the 80s, you know? 80s, early 90s, whatever.
Because they took
Came out.
Mario and
It
they're like,
came
we're
out
gonna-
the same summer as Jurassic Park.
Jeez.
Oh
93.
my God, that's so
Oh, wow.
old.
I remember.
Yeah.
Now I
I was
remember.
The
7.
Mario movie's older, the Mario movie's older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. I was 3 when it came out. I remember going
I
to
was
see
7.
it, and I was obsessed with dinosaurs. Like I had all of the little dinosaur figures.
Oh, I
except
love
they didn't look
dinosaur-
near as cool as this one.
Dinosaurs. Yeah,
This
no,
is-
mine were just like they just had freaking pimples all over them.
Yeah.
Well,
And they had like a little spray paint on the back to change the color. They were all single color.
they were like little Gumby figures for me.
Practically.
Like they had little bendable. that was it.
Yes. Stretch Armstrong dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so I'm stretching it next week.
So that was discussing Mario Wonder and the new voice actor. So fun story.
Would be a good.
Charles Martinet, his last game was Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope,
Oh.
and in the DLC they included Rayman.
Yes.
So
I'm
Mario
about to
and
get I'm
Rayman
about
are
to get
in the
that.
same game.
I have that game down.
That's the only way you can revive Rayman at this point, is to partner him up with Mario.
Yeah. Huh.
Mario and Rayman at the Summer Olympics.
You know, it'd be kind of a cool homage if they cast John Leguizamo as Waluigi. That'd be kind of cool
That
because
would
he
be-
played Luigi in like the Super Mario movie
Okay,
that nobody
here's
liked.
my
Yeah,
thing.
but
If
you
we
wanna-
ever saw
the headcanon would be like he became
sorry.
evil and now he's like Waluigi.
If we ever saw a King K. Rool in a movie,
Oh hell no.
who would be the voice?
Oh man.
That's a toughie.
Well,
That's
we'd
tough.
never have to think about that because that would never happen in a century.
Yeah,
but
they got rid
Who
of King
cares
K.
about
Rool
King
as
K.
the most.
Rool?
all right. First of all,
Hold
I
on.
love K-Roll.
Hold on.
But
So he was my first villain to fight. He was the first game I ever had. I had a yellow Game Boy Color. No, I had a teal Game Boy Color. I got a yellow one later because my sister broke mine and then wouldn't let me use hers. So my parents got me. My aunt actually accidentally got her the yellow one, so she had two. She had the clear purple one and a yellow one, and then all three of them became mine because she didn't need them.
She buggered off.
Yeah,
But
She-
it left him.
she moved on to Diaries and Usher.
Women.
What?
But
Diaries and Usher.
But Donkey Kong was my first game, and King K. Rool, I spent so long as a child, not with a prefrontal cortex undeveloped, fighting King K. Rool. And when they took him out of the games, it's like you took Bowser out of Mario, essentially, and you replaced him with a polar bear, a walrus, and then what was the some tikis.
Penguin.
The tikis were cool, but you could have had them controlled by K. Rool. You could have had the winter thing be a legion under K. Rool. Like, where's the Kremlins? You can't take the Goombas and the Bowser out of Mario. Then it's not
Yeah.
Mario.
So for the new Mario movie or potential Mario trilogy, because they could bring in Rosalie, Bowser teams up with K. Rool.
Well, one of the things is that there's been this big old thing that Donkey Kong's supposed to get a spin-off from this and have a series. Don't know if that's going to happen or not.
I don't think that.
I would
needs to
love
happen.
to have a TV series about Donkey Kong again because it can be good. But if they bring in K. Rool, if they're going to bring in a villain for Donkey Kong, it needs to be K. Rool.
Yeah,
You don't have
for sure.
anybody else. Mario was the original villain for Donkey Kong, and then he got K. Rool because of Rare. God bless Rare. I love Rare.
Yes. Yes.
K-Roll
That was a
really cool
rare
video.
set of games. That was great potential. But I just remember whenever you would load up the game and you get that ring and get the rareware. All right, now moving back to the original discussion of the Nintendo Direct. So after that, we're getting a Luigi's Mansion 2 full-on remake, which I'm excited for. And if you didn't know, there's an arcade cabinet for Luigi's Mansion 2. You sit down and you have a whole suck gun, whatever it is, poltergeist.
Yeah.
Poltergeist that you get to play as, and it's a light gun game. So you're having to flash them. You have a light and the poltergeist, and you're having to flash the ghost and then suck them all up. But it is
Out of
impossible.
context.
So
It
this
is
is only in
impo-
Japan, right?
No, it's in America. There's some places that have it. Yep. I was touring with Louisiana Stars, and there was a day that we went to the Katy Mills Mall, and they had an arcade on one floor, and I dropped like $40 playing the Luigi's Mansion game because it was $5 a play.
This is Dark Room.
$5 a
Dark
play.
Dark Moon, yep.
Yeah.
The one that was just labeled in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. But people were upset because Luigi's Mansion 1, have you played?
I've
For the
only
Super Nintendo?
played Luigi's Mansion 1.
So Luigi's
I
Mansion
played-
1, you had the portrait ghost that everyone loved because you had a boss that was its own character, separate from all the unspecified ghosts. And then when you got to Luigi's Mansion 2, they kind of got rid of the character out of all of the ghosts. They kind of just were there.
So
And then you got to the third one, and they kind of reintroduced some of it back, where you had characterized ghosts.
yeah, it's like I buy a lot of games with the intention of playing them, but I don't always get around to them. And that's one that I haven't gotten around to. I was kind of hoping maybe this Halloween, like this spooky season, I would start playing more Luigi's Mansion games. I also
And
want to
Luigi's
play.
Mansion is getting released, what, next summer?
I want to play the Luigi's Mansion games again on the Switch, and I want to play the Yomawari games because those are the ones that I've wanted to play, and they look spooky. I don't know, but like not super spooky, not too bad, just enough for me.
And then, so Luigi's Mansion 2, I'm excited because I never got to play it. I never had a 3DS.
Alright,
So,
so I'm back.
What up, MJ?
What's up?
So this is MJ. This is the guys I was telling you about. That's why.
How's it going?
Howdy ho, I'm Bill.
Nice to meet you.
if you wanna,
I'm gonna
Brandon
grab a
next
chair
to
real
you.
quick.
If you wanna take
Hey,
that chair right
how you
there.
Oh, okay.
Let you in here.
This is the best Smash player in our state.
Yeah. Oh, easily. He could be any of us at Smash.
No, it's not just that.
But what's our topic right now? Are we still on the direct?
Yes.
We're talking about
Luigi's Mansion 2.
Oh, it's a Dark Moon being redone?
I'm just eventually gonna have a choir of riser, like the choir risers, and just have people just keep walking in.
yeah, it's
Just keep adding people to the recordings. So we had Luigi Mansion 2, Mario Wonder, Mario RPG. Now we get to the new Princess Peach game.
What do you think, MJ? Be real. What do you think about it? I'm excited because they had a game a long time ago, Super Princess Peach, and I haven't got to play it.
Yeah, it was like,
Yes.
wasn't it for the DS?
Yeah, it was
The original
Super
DS.
Rare.
Yeah.
And then people got upset because it was a woman with her emotions. Because all of her power-ups were based off of emotions because the umbrella supercharged your emotions. So when you cried, raindrops fell. Whenever you got angry, there were fireballs. Whenever... So I never played it. People said it was all right, but it went from being a Princess Peach game to this is Perry the Umbrella. And this is his entire storyline. So he had a wife, he gets cursed, he loses his wife, and now he's on a journey to help Princess Peach so that he could turn back into a human and then get back with his wife.
Yeah.
Why did he turn into an umbrella? I'm confused.
A wizard was like, man, screw you.
He's an umbrella.
I do vaguely remember that.
What?
I never played it.
Bibbidi bobbidi umbrella. It doesn't even rhyme.
Because that's how it works.
Snick snack snow, you're now parasol.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that
I like
sounds
that.
right.
I like that.
Yeah. Did he
Yeah,
do
so-
something like normal beforehand? Because I always thought in
He
Beauty
had
and
a
the
95
Beast,
day
No, like-
family.
him
Yeah.
getting turned into a beast. He got turned into a beast because he wouldn't let a stranger into his house or something. And
Nope.
she was like, "Ha! I'm actually a beautiful enchantress. I'm gonna turn you into a beast now."
Nope.
And he was just like, "What? My parents aren't home." Like,
Nope.
That was like the dumb. That was a dumb
Nope.
plot for Beauty and the Beast.
You're expecting Nintendo to take a Princess Peach game and have world building and actual lore? No.
I felt like that was a
No,
normal
never
thing
happened.
for a child to
with
do.
this one. I
Not
think
let
they
a
could
stranger
expand
into his
more of
house.
the Mushroom Kingdom
So,
lore.
so this one's contained all in one little opera house, and there's this witch that comes in with the sour grape bunch.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
So you get. My joke is that you're getting a bunch of memberries from South Park.
I remember.
I remember,
man.
Yeah.
Hey, remember? Yeah, I remember, man.
Remember Princess Peach? I remember.
Cool, man.
Remember Chewbacca?
Steve.
I bless the rains down
Remember when Chewbacca didn't get that medal?
Yeah.
I remember.
I
He got it in the end though.
Remember Mario? I remember Peach.
Remember Mario
So-
versus Donkey Kong?
But, because at first when I saw the Showtime thing, I was like, oh no, this is gonna be stupid. And then she gets a sword and she starts cutting shit up. I was like, ah.
Oh, she's cutting up now.
And then she has just a mini game in the chef's coat. I was like, oh.
Oh, she's cutting food.
Then-
I don't know. That's
Then you have to-
I found that to be
Then you have to walk around a set as a detective, and then you have to do karate fighting, side-scrolling karate fighting. So I was like, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a shot.
Now, surely there are more than just those 4 transformations.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
probably
they
hiding
said there's
ones.
more in
Yeah.
it. Now there might be one more in it because it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
So
Save the best
Yeah,
for last.
my expectations are already really low since they didn't introduce Bowsette to us yet. You know what I'm saying?
Bowsette,
Is that
oh,
a
yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
It's not canon.
Hey,
it should have been a
Bowsette's
thing.
not canon.
It
Well,
should
Not
have
canon,
been
but
a
it
thing.
is a thing.
And this
It's
game
a-
should
it's
have been a
fan-
thing.
it's
What
fan.
kind of DeviantArt fan art is Bowsette?
So you have
Oh,
Pete.
no.
So
No.
we're going to explain this
Oh no.
safe for work style.
I'll find
So-
you.
Please.
So
I got it.
in Super Mario Brothers Deluxe U,
I don't know. I'm
they
not
had
familiar.
Toadette as a playable character.
Yeah.
And now, because she's a
Oh,
freaking
Toadette,
toad,
yeah.
you got to make her worthy
I
of
think
doing
it's spelled
anything. So they gave her. You had this little crown mushroom power up,
Yes.
Peach, whatever, and she became pretty much a copy of Princess Peach with
That's
pigtails, and she
Yeah.
became Princess Toadette.
Okay.
So the best
Or no,
part
she
is
became
I typed it
Peachette.
in and it autocorrected to Bowser. It was
So
like
Toadette
no.
transformed into Peachette. She looks just like Peach, but she's just a toad with a human body.
Yeah, I didn't
And so
play a
they
lot
wanted.
of that
So then it
game.
became fanfic that Bowser would eat the Princess Peach mushroom and then become Bowser.
Bowsette.
Is that how it goes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cute.
So that's the.
Wow.
And then you can take that and you could go down the Sonic rabbit hole.
Yeah,
I mean,
so there-
anybody could eat the.
So
I'm
there's
good.
a list of rules.
Anybody.
Peachette.
But then you had the whole
That
thing of
version.
now you have I saw one picture where it was a Sonic Ed, and then they'd taken the whole Smash
I think
Brothers
the
roster.
worst one I've seen was a chain chomp.
Oh,
So,
no.
Bill,
I
Bill,
think
No,
was
no,
the
no,
worst one.
no,
There's a book of
the
rules.
worst one was
Okay.
Burdette.
Yeah.
wait,
They made
wait,
that?
Burdette was oh no.
That's
I gotta explain this to
confusing.
Bill.
Bleach.
Okay.
That's extra
Wait, I have a
confusing.
question. What if DK ate it?
Then he'd be the sexiest dude alive.
So there's a
Solely
book
for-
of rules.
You
When
think you
get
can
to
handle my
34,
dunk
you
yet?
gotta skip that chapter. Do you know what rule 34 is?
No,
Rule 34.
Do not.
I know Rule 34.
Yeah.
As long as it
So-
exists.
If you could think of it, there's a
There's
it
a thing.
exists
There's
on
a
the
Moving
internet.
on to Splatoon 3 DLC,
Not interested.
which is order. I really don't care about it. Splatoon 3 doesn't really.
Yeah,
hold
I
my
haven't. I
interest.
haven't played 3.
I haven't
so-
gotten 3 yet.
We gotta get Cody on here
No,
if we want to talk
Boost
about
was-
Splatoon 3.
He'll tell you all about it.
I
He does
played
competitive.
Splatoon
for a
1.
future
I didn't
for a
play
future
2.
I
podcast.
didn't play either. I played a little bit of 2. And
I
beat
liked
someone.
1. Splatoon 1 was fun.
I won't be one. Someone in Splatoon 2 that played like hundreds of
We need to
hours
get-
and beat them in it. So
Yeah.
I should tell you where I'm at.
I just never saw Splatoon as a game that would have a sequel or
A three
Well,
sequel.
apparently
Yeah.
the campaigns are pretty good.
Apparently, they're really long. Apparently too.
I want to
Yeah.
play them, but I had Splatoon 2, and then I didn't have friends who were playing Splatoon 2, so then it got boring.
Yeah,
I like the
But
amiibo.
I did like
So-
the Octo expansion. I thought
For
that was
two?
pretty. Yeah.
I like that.
I have those amiibo as well. So
They're up there.
I don't have the
they sure
Octolings.
The amiibos are awesome.
Yeah,
I
big
love the
man, yeah.
amiibos.
I
The-
love that.
so the
Yeah.
Octolings-
Well, you saw those?
I bought when
MJs?
they were $120 in box, and then
Ah.
sold them for $200, and then bought them back in box when they dropped down to $60.
Man, that is crazy.
Yeah, so I
can't
have a
believe
box
they changed price
upstairs.
so much.
Flippity flip.
Well, that's one of the things with amiibo.
But
Moving
brother
on
can-
to the Mario Kart 8 wave, they added more to Mario Kart 8.
We got Funky Kong, baby!
yeah, we got
I am
We got
excited
Funky
for Funky
Kong.
Kong.
Mhm.
And guess
We got
what else
Funky Kong.
Peach.
They get Peachette.
But
Why
we
no
did get
Bowser?
Funky Kong.
Dude, the list was so good.
Slide this way, and then slide into your actual view.
So it was
Oh,
so
okay.
good. How did they? What was the
New-
order? It was like saying for
So-
that last expansion they released 5 characters.
Here's the only thing I need. If they don't give me a new box art with Funky Mode in the corner,
No, they ain't.
I ain't buying it.
Well, there is a Japanese exclusive version of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that's coming out that's gonna have all the DLC on the cartridge. But I think they already announced that like the final DLC that they're coming out with is not on the cartridge.
Oh,
But so it's kind of like
'Cause I want that-
people are excited but also disappointed in the
I
release.
want the physical copies that have the DLC
Yeah.
on them for when eventually the Switch services are no longer in use.
So officially right now there's a version of Super Mario Odyssey, I think, that has the DLC on it in Japan. There's a version of Breath of the Wild, of course, that has all the
Odyssey
expansion
has
stuff on
DLC.
it.
Odyssey has a
Um,
Luigi
moving to
balloon
Japan.
game that you
That's
hide a
free.
balloon somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
free.
But I think
It's all the
I think you have to
good stuff.
download it. Like there's this, it's
And they
free,
did it
but
before us,
you want
too,
it
so.
You have to
for
be able to
for
collect
posterity
Yeah.
reasons. You want it on the cartridge.
Well, the problem,
There's
too, is
people
that you
go out of their
need-
way to collect it.
NSO, you need the online services to be able to play
But
it.
there's Splatoon 2 with its expansion stuff on the
Yeah.
cartridge in Japan, and then now the Mario one.
We don't have a whole lot of that for Nintendo from over here in America. I don't think I've ever seen something being sold
No,
like that in America.
if it does, it's
Well,
it's
there's the
very-
Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion.
Yeah, but I think it comes with a
versions.
code. I think I don't
Sword
know
and
if it's
Shield
on the
is-
cartridge.
I think it is. Yeah,
Is
it should be.
I'll have to
Yeah,
look into it. Because
Because-
last time I bought
Big.
something was Mario Maker and they were saying
No,
they
yeah.
would put it in the
because the
cartridge.
cartridge is different.
No, buddy of mine,
The
he's
last game I
got
played was a
he
big
bought the
RPG.
physical of
3DS, but that game is.
Violet.
No, not
And-
Violet. I'm talking about Sword and Shield.
Oh, Sword and Shield.
There's a
That was
version that was
good. I
released
like
that
Sword
had the
and Shield.
expansion
Sword.
on it.
Meh,
It wasn't the
All
best.
the shinies, everything.
Wow.
I guess I'm just getting too old for Pokemon.
I don't
I
like
don't-
I
okay,
don't like Sword
I'm
and
not-
Shield.
Guys.
I'm not too old for Pokemon. I'm too old for bullshit.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Right.
All right.
Okay, so I remember what you were talking about a long time ago when Scarlet and Violet came out. The
Because-
glitches.
Before we rebooted this, we had a 45-minute rant of just disappointment in the Pokemon company. They have to give something to another company for it to be good. The Diamond Pearl remake, which were just 1-for-1 remakes, it wasn't that great. They should have just done Platinum to be over it. There's no reason why they should have done 2 separate games.
Yeah.
But
There's still time.
the
for Platinum.
greed of having 2 games,
I'd buy
it
it.
doesn't exist anymore. Back when you had 2 cartridges and you had to link up with a friend, that was the point of it. Is like you had to get with a buddy that also had
Yeah.
the other
That's what
copy,
me and him did.
and then you were friend like you built your friendship, you built your bonds with people, all right?
Just like with the cards.
True relationships were forged in the fire of deciding who got fire red and who got leaf green.
I got leaf green.
I got sword, you got
for
shield.
$10.
I
Yeah.
had
I
Alpha
fucking
Sapphire.
material.
The
Fire
problem
red.
is when you could trade online, now you have online stuff,
I
that
just
doesn't
wanted
matter
one.
anymore. It's just, all it's doing is charging $120 for what should cost you $60 now.
Yeah.
Because the games went up an extra 50% in price. They sell like gangbusters, and the quality has not jumped to match it. The problem is, I started Violet, got trapped behind, got soft locked in the house when you start, and had to restart on stream. I had to restart a game, and then so many times I fell through the ground. And you want to know why the game performs like such shit? There's the base layer of all games, the bottom of the box, that's also spawning Pokemon. So whenever you would have on your radar, you're like, oh, there's a group of these Pokemon here. You go look for them. There's not that Pokemon there. It's because it's underneath at the bottom of the box. And there's also a layer of water down there for
Did they
some
ever
reason.
fix it all the way? Did they ever fix it?
No!
Even in the
no,
new updates. it's still
Really?
messed
And they
up.
dropped DLC on
And
that.
the problem is the DLC, which they charge you $30 for
Yeah.
each game. So you don't just buy it and you get it for each game. You have to pay $30 for the first game, $30 for the second game, and then the second wave of DLC, another $30, another $30. You end up paying another $120.
189.
So you end up spending $240 for both games and all the DLC for both games. That's ridiculous because it plays like shit, looks like shit, and there's nothing that new. Oh, now you're open world, but it looks like
always
shit.
been open world.
Legends Arceus, like all it is now is that it's 3D now.
I hate Sword and Shield. They lied to us.
Legends
the frame
Arceus
rate-
was their best.
Oh, yeah, no, it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The frame rate was horrendous, and then you just had so many glitches. The villagers are pointless. There's nothing extra. That was one of my favorite things with Pokemon was you would talk to people in the villages. They would give you hints to the game, hints to secrets, things to do.
Yeah.
That's all gone. There's none of that now.
There was a lecherous old man that would give you a nugget. And it was actually a pun in Japanese, but it didn't translate well. I learned that.
But that's my disappointment with Pokemon is, and then whenever they had, what was it? Sword and Shield, they said they couldn't bring over the national decks because everyone was excited. I was excited to catch every Pokemon in 3D, and that was going to be my goal. I was going to stream that until I got every Pokemon for it.
And they didn't do it.
And they said they didn't have the resources to do it.
What are you talking about? Like how the
Pokemon Sword and Shield. So Pokemon
full
Company
Pokédex
lied.
isn't
People
available.
ripped on Pokemon Company for Game Freak when Pokemon Sword and Shield, when they said the national dex, which is all the Pokemon. Once you get out of your specific region, usually once you have the end game and you beat the game, you now have access to all the Pokemon in the Pokédex. That was all the way up through, I think, Sun and Moon, X and Y.
Yeah.
It was all the way up until Sword and Shield. You had a national dex that you could get every Pokemon in the game series. You get to Sword and Shield, they say we're not able to render all those assets. And then you look at them one for one, they're from Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go, there's some of them have additional polygons added to them. Like they went and they mapped out each 3D model whenever they took the files from the game. And in just about every case, it was the same. And then you have Pikachu, who instead of going up and going tail whip, wha-bow, you just have Pikachu go.
Like out of the DS.
I'm glad
So
that was
and it's
here
not
for you.
it's not even. Well, I was gonna grab the parrot, but or the seagull, but instead of like doing this animation of like actually whipping with a tail, you just have this thing where it just.
Yeah. I
Where-
didn't
and it's
understand,
so-
but when you
That's
did
so
that, I
freaking
understood
lazy.
now.
You're
I
gonna
get
tell
it.
me you're gonna charge me $60 for a game where the model for a AAA title where the model goes. And you're not gonna animate that. And the thing is, some YouTubers went and they learned Blender, they learned everything, and they said it took them 30-something hours not only to learn Blender, but to take the model they already had for Pikachu and give it 6 unique movesets.
Really?
So it's just like, here's your general special attack. Here's your general physical attack, and then you can add in special things where it was like, oh, a tail whip, that's one special thing. Let's actually do a tail whip.
And they didn't.
Whip that tail.
Bruh, didn't even nay-nay.
Whip it.
Whip it with no name.
Whip it real good.
So I was disappointed, and then Legends Arceus came out, and Legends Arceus was still pretty. I liked the Legends Arceus,
I didn't play it.
but it still looked like shit.
Like I like Sword
I
and Shield.
thought
but I
it
just
looked
stopped playing.
fine. Honestly, I play Nintendo games because they're fun. I don't play them because they look good.
Yeah.
But but my problem is that I expect Nintendo to make the game, because when you played Mario Galaxy
get
on a
it.
Wii,
I don't want the game to be broken. I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you that.
yeah. But when you played Mario Galaxy on the Wii, that shit looked beautiful.
Yeah,
It still does.
Yeah.
Still
And
does when you
even-
play the
yeah.
3D All Stars.
Even
Oh,
in
yeah.
340p, whatever it was, or was it 420? Whatever
It
it was, even
it
in that
was-
lower res,
No, it
it
was
still
720.
looked gorgeous. Huh?
I think it was 720.
Was the Wii 720? No.
Yeah.
No,
Wii
we-
No, it was
we-
480.
Yeah,
We-
The
we-
Wii was 480.
Wii was
yeah.
480 because it was
Damn.
just a GameCube with motion controls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Same
that's
thing.
what
Same
it was
processing
good.
power and everything.
Same thing with the Wii U. It
Maybe
was a
the Wii-
GameCube with a gamepad and motion controls.
I thought the Wii U was 720 though.
Well,
That was one of
Wii
the
U was
selling
720.
points.
No, the Wii U was set. Yeah, they bumped it up to 1080.
Oh,
Really?
damn.
Just with
The HD.
5
That's
FPS.
why I had HDMI.
I
Yeah,
think.
It's
Oh,
at
that is
HD.
right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if I'm not mistaken,
You
the
might have
Switch-
you might have come close to 720 with the
I-
Wii if
this-
you had like component.
I thought the
Oh,
Switch was
yeah.
the first 1080.
only in docked
Oh.
mode though.
Only yeah.
Well, now it's 4K. They
Oh,
No.
yeah, the OLED.
Well,
Oh,
No, no,
No,
no. If
it's
something's
not
in 4K,
4K.
that Switch is gonna blow up.
No,
Yeah.
OLED is 4K.
No.
I've run it
No,
at
it's not.
60x.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's
it's
4K.
4K.
I have
60
the
FPS.
OLED with me right now.
It's
Swear on my
It's-
life. And it's
fine.
got some other things.
There's
in
no
there.
way. You can tell a distinct difference between
know-
1080 and 4K.
But-
I got an OLED too.
But
it's not about that. It's about the refresh
it's
rates
still-
and stuff.
it's
It's
still-
not. It's not.
It's
the
still
pirates.
4K.
I get
with,
this. I get the same
It
refresh
looks
when
better because it's a brighter screen and it's a bigger
when
screen.
well
But
because
in
OLED.
docked mode, it's still 1080p.
When
Because
I
it
play
was the thing
Tears of
of-
the Kingdom, I get the same refresh rate in the Korok Woods as I do on TV. It's the same choppiness once I get to the.
But it was the thing
pedestal.
of you can have Nintendo 64 graphics in 4K because that's what Sword and Shield was. Them Ocarina of Time trees, bruh. I remember watching the Nintendo Direct for that summer and the likes just flying. One of the most disliked YouTube videos was the Sword and Shield Direct. Whenever they show it, and then everyone Ocarina of Time trees, Ocarina of Time trees, Ocarina of Time trees, for their what was the summer things? What was the summer game event that kind of died recently after COVID?
What,
What-
E3?
E3.
Yeah.
For the big E3 that they have Pokemon announcement,
1080.
and everyone is just
1060.
dropping a deuce because Pokemon Sword and Shield is supposed to be the first introduction to 3D, and it has Ocarina of Time trees. And you can see the polygons in the background, and
But you know what game I really liked? Ocarina of Time.
Oh, that's a beautiful
yeah,
game.
it was far
And
better than Sword and
That
Shield.
is probably.
I didn't mind
if it
the
wasn't for
trees.
Tears of the Kingdom.
No.
it still is the
But-
best video
But
game.
because in the
It
time,
really is.
that
It's so
was
good.
It's a masterpiece.
that was
I really like it a
far
lot.
above expectation at the time.
Oh,
Pokemon has been far below, and you
I
get
get it.
you
I'm
get
just-
new Pokemon Snap that looks gorgeous, but it was made by someone else.
That's why I think that Pokemon works
Bandai
best.
made it?
Like Pokemon was
think so.
awesome on the Game Boy Advance, and the DS.
They did fantastic, and they were able to keep a yearly release of all that stuff because you weren't making this big world. You're just making a
Individual
2.5D
games.
game.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It
And
doesn't
now
matter
you
about
play
the
it on
graphics,
TV, and there's lore and following
which
like,
they
the car-
which they still don't do well.
What was
I
that
need-
town called? Was it Lavender Town?
I've never.
Oh, there was some lore in that. There was some lore in that. Dead children and stuff. Is that right?
It was the
That
kids,
was where
it was
the-
kids
Where do you
killing
think all the
themselves
ghost
after
Pokemon
listening
come
to it.
from?
That
Was
was
it, I think Lavender Town was a ghost town, right? Like,
it was
ghost
where
town?
they had the Pokemon Cemetery, but then after that they had a bunch of creepypasta that came from it.
I thought some of it was real.
creepypasta.
So
Oh,
in
don't get me
in
started on those.
in the
No
time
idea
in the
that.
time
Nightmares
period,
from those.
we're gonna keep zooming through. Okay, so
yeah.
Mario Kart 8, funky mode,
we
funky
talked-
mode
Funky
activated.
mode.
WarioWare, move it, and we're gonna move right along to the next thing.
Please,
because
please.
Who cares about WarioWare?
Nobody.
I like to move it, move it.
And copy.
I like Wario.
but WarioWare, the Wario Land game's
like-
fantastic. I love
What?
it.
You don't like WarioWare?
Okay,
I like the little mini games.
I'll play it. I'm not gonna buy a new WarioWare.
But they're-
No.
You're better off
They-
playing the old one.
I can
really
play
like
those
Smooth
games
Moves
on
from
my
the
phone.
Gala.
Those were
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like
It was
My
innovative
mom
for
bought
the time.
that for me, and we had some fun times playing that.
It's not a bad game. I'm just not gonna spend $60 on it.
If I were a kid that had siblings or friends over regularly that I could play it with, it would be different doing that as compared to now. It's like, do I really want to? Like, one thing I had fun with was I brought the robot Nintendo Labo home to my parents and was like, Dad, you're gonna try this. And watching my dad figure it out, it was happy. It was truly happy moment. And then my mom refused. She's like, I'm not gonna look like an idiot. And I'm like,
So you need to get this game and
make my
bring your
parents play
family
it.
together.
Make my parents play. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. Is I'm gonna bring the stuff down for like Thanksgivings and Christmas and make them play Switch games just because I want to see them.
You should film it.
Am I going
Make
to
content out of it.
Am I going to disrespect my grandma for monetary value?
Exploit your family.
Hear me out.
Exploit my grandmother for views.
I do have an idea.
Oh no.
We should explain the
The,
Finance
Context.
lore.
hey, what is the thing you get?
He's not
AARP
ready for
is
this
going to
idea.
sponsor my.
Oh no.
Oh no.
All right, Barry, you
But
ready?
that was one of the cool things about the Wii. If you didn't know, they used it with senior citizens for physical.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go.
We should explain the FNAF lore to all of our parents, and then whoever
Sit
gets it
them
first
all
wins.
down. Sit them all down. The first one that can respond back.
PowerPoint, pointers. Whoosh. So
We're gonna rent out a theater and just be like, all right, we have gathered you all here today. It is not to watch a movie. It is not for a performance. It is for FNAF lore.
And
The
this is
doors
not-
are locked.
You need
There's
some
no
waivers
way
to
out.
be signed
There is
before
no
this
satanic
happens.
shit.
Oh my goodness.
The doors are locked. There
You're
are no
gonna
ways
cause some
out.
heart attacks.
You run out of oxygen in 3 hours.
Oh my god.
Figure it out.
Oh.
It
Wow.
is Saltember. No, it's not Saltember no more. It's October now. It's spooky season.
Oh yeah.
So moving on to the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake.
Not too big on it.
Yeah. For
So
real.
I never played it.
I thought they were fun. On
So
DS.
it's
Yeah.
a more thought-provoking game.
That's
You have
it.
to pick out what's going on in each level.
Yeah.
It's a puzzler, and then it's a 2D platforming puzzler game, and
played
I
it.
love that. And then you get to Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, which is March of the Minis, and that was on
Yeah,
DS.
on the
And you had
DS.
to tap and activate
Yeah.
the
I played
toys.
that
You
one.
had to make them hop over stuff. You had to build
Yeah.
girders and stuff.
Yeah,
I
that was
loved
fun.
it. They could have made 1,000 more March of the Minis games, and I would have played all of them. But after March of the Minis, it moved to 3DS, and I never got a 3DS, so I had to just watch them all do nothing. And then the Wii U had an amiibo version where you had all the Mario line. You had Donkey, Diddy, Bowser Jr., Rosalina, and Peach that all had minis, and they all did different things, and you had to play them through the levels.
With the amiibos.
With the
That's on
amiibos
the
by
DS
scanning them
too.
in.
That's on the 3DS.
Fantastic game. You can't get it no more. I made sure to put it on an SD
Oh,
card.
I got it.
So that's on Wii. I loved it. Switch got nothing, and all I wanted from the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake
Minis.
was I want a Mario Mini to put on this shelf. Anything I 100% I put on this shelf. Something for it. And I can't put a Mini. The only thing is they had some little gashpuns, whatever you say it.
Gachapon. That's
Gotcha.
what I said.
Gachapon, because you're going to get them at the pawn shop after that.
Yeah.
Gachapon.
Gotcha, Mom. Yeah.
But those little ones, they had those, and they had some Super Mario Sunshine ones. And that's the only Super Mario Sunshine stuff they had, except for a Nintendo Power exclusive for the VIPs. They had a Mario on a Yoshi with the Flood, and those things are like $200. And I might eventually get it. But that was the only way you could get a mini, and now we have Amiibo. Make me a mini Mario Amiibo. I want it.
We'll
I also
sponsor.
want Amiibos for the Mario RPG. I want a Mallow and a Geno, and I also want that little squat Mario as well.
I don't know if they'll go that far. I think they're gonna do. If it sells really well, they'll do it. You know, that's the same thing with Smash, because it sold really well and they started making the DLC. I don't think they had those plans beforehand.
No, that was the whole thing for the original Amiibo was for Smash 4.
I
That
remember
was the
it.
only, and then they started including it with everything else. All right, but that's it for Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I loved him. I'm excited for it.
I think it's
No.
gonna be a snooze fest.
I do.
I don't
I'm
think it's gonna be a
indifferent.
snooze fest.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
think
gonna be like
I think
that's
it's gonna be
something
mid.
just for the people that really love the game for the DS.
And to see if there's interest for them to revive it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going
that's
to sell
it.
super well. I think it's going to have mid sales, but I am going to 100% get it.
I mean,
will
I'm
pre-order
I'm
it.
gonna get it too. Like,
It's like I'm
if
indifferent.
it's Mario, I'm gonna get it.
Now,
As a collector, I gotta get all
this,
these games.
yeah,
But
this game comes out.
will I play it a lot? I don't know.
I'm going to 100% it.
I'm
Because
gonna
I'll
play
beat
with
it
this
and
guy and
and
see.
it'll collect dust.
because I couldn't get it for the Game Boy Advance. Now, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, that's it. Detective Pikachu Returns actually drops next week
Really?
on
They're
October
bringing them
6th.
back. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
So
They're bringing them back.
that was one that they slept on because they announced it 1 month before it came out. Less than a month. 3 weeks before it came out. Detective Pikachu
Oh,
Returns.
yeah, we were talking about that
And
earlier.
just like Mario Kart 8, I'm just like, oh, nice.
I don't know.
I might play it.
I didn't play any Detective Pikachu. I saw the Ryan Reynolds movie. That was
Yeah, that was
funny.
pretty
I
good.
liked it.
I love the movie.
There was a guy named Tim in that movie.
Was that?
Yes.
Was it the main
Yes.
character?
The main guy.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know they were
And the
making it.
game.
Yeah, I didn't play
Yeah.
the game though, so I didn't know that. I found that out recently. I was like,
Yep.
oh, look, like in the
Well,
movie.
I have the Detective Pikachu amiibo.
Except
I
it's the
hope it
wrong
has
shape.
Bring him up here. Bring him up here. While we're talking about it, you got a visual aid right here.
Huge amiibo.
Now, while we put the Pikachu
That is a
down,
pretty big.
Okay,
one.
I have never seen this amiibo.
So look,
Is it a
now,
real amiibo?
now I need you to swat the tail.
This is a real
like you
amiibo.
did with Godzilla. I need you to swat
I have
the tail
these
real
amiibos.
quick.
This is
so
so
cool.
Okay,
we got
so
you,
you
guy.
have
You got
what's a bone bird that's in the game?
Anthony, come on, lights
Bone-
up.
dry bones.
That's
Far-fetched.
dry
Okay,
bones.
so you
Not
have
bird, though.
Pikachu, which is about
Dry
as well
birdo.
animated as this amiibo
There's
is.
gotta be one.
Has about as much motion as this does.
This is an Elite Four battle, by the
So
way.
Pikachu does this. Pikachu, use tail whip. Defense fell. There you go. That's your visual aid time.
Grown ass men play with amiibos.
All right, we're
Why
good.
did that Pikachu stay
It's dead. 0 HP.
Scale with Godzilla. But yeah, there you go. I animated. We could have stop motion that, and it would have been better animation.
But we are grown ass men with the job. They
We
just
don't
play
have
with
access to
amiibo.
Dragon Frame.
I'm not using Blender. All right, so Detective Pikachu Returns. Now one thing that a lot of people got upset about was F-099. They thought there was going to be some F-Zero remake, whatever. I think F-099 is the best way to bring back F-Zero because
Nah, bring back F-Zero GX from the GameCube.
I got Mario Kart 8.
Nah.
When I saw the first second of that direct of F-Zero, I'm like, yes, finally, and then it was 99. Why, Nintendo? Why are you hurting? Why are you crushing our souls?
Now I played it.
Give us what we want.
Have you played it yet? Because
I have once.
I only played
And
like
I'll get it.
I only played like 2 rounds of it. And I was like, I would want to get good at this and actually play it. Other than that, I'm good. So now on from F-099. Anybody care about Prince of Persia?
No, I didn't care about it when it was on the GameCube.
It's a game that was shot at a long time
There's
ago.
a new one or a remake or a
I actually
remaster
played
coming
the
out.
Prince of Persia game. I
Then
forgot.
there was the Sands of Time movie, which was the game
with Jake
on
Gyllenhaal.
GameCube with that crappy British voice. Why did they have to go that route? I have no idea.
I'd rather watch Prince of Persia and just pet a cat instead.
A Persian cat.
A Persian cat, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Then there was a remake of some Japanese game called Another Code. White
That was
hair.
a DS game. Wasn't
Yeah.
It was a DS.
I'm excited
It was
for
a
that.
DS point and
I'm
click
gonna get it.
game,
Yeah.
and they're
That's my style.
bringing
I like
that
these
back
games.
for this. Well, the thing is, I looked at it and I'm like, that looks like the Mozart Requiem game that I had streamed, and it was just hot garbage. It was an old PC game that they brought back, and it's pretty much Mozart going up against.
My thinking is if
the
it was good
Freemasons.
enough to get remade, it's probably fine. It's probably all right.
Yeah,
I'll play
I'm
it.
sure it'll be
Perfect game
it'll
to
be
bring back.
mid sales.
Yeah, you never
Yeah.
know.
It'll be one of those things they probably don't print them a bunch, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be a junky
That
game.
game,
gets
alright,
turned-
so
it gets-
like
it'll be
that's
worth
like the
something.
Now,
Life is Strange games
we
from
pre-
Square
Yeah.
Enix. That's the kind of fan group that game.
There's
See,
a
we
niche,
predicted
though, for
the
it.
next
There
game coming.
is.
We predicted the next game coming in one of our podcasts.
What is
we
it?
talked about the Tomb Raider,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and then 1 through
I'm,
3.
do
I'm a
that?
little excited for that because
So
I
the
love
prequel-
those games.
So they
Yes.
remade it, but they remade a PS1 game up to PS2 graphics. Because it
Progress.
Because when it that was the thing people
But
were
it's still
people
Tomb
were
Raider, though.
clowning on them because they do the swipe from the old stuff to this HD remake, and people are like, did it change? Did they forget to remake it?
I think Halo did that for
Yes.
their
It actually looked good
For
though.
the,
Yeah,
first,
I know.
the first anniversary,
Yeah, so the
Yes.
first and second anniversary.
it was basically Halo Reach graphics.
Yeah,
From
but you
the
can
first
switch
one?
between the newer graphics, like enhanced, or you can switch between the old graphics.
Yeah, so
And
you
that's-
for one
that's
and
what
two.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when you do a remake, I want to be able to play the old game with the old stuff and play the new stuff. Because the old game is going to be what? From a PS1, it's going to be what? 1 gig? Maybe? If anything.
Not even a gig.
Not even that
Not
much.
even a gig.
So you can have that entire game on that console. It's like you want to play the original game, boom, there you go. Or at least be able to turn down the graphics so it looks like the old game.
Well, they had a problem doing that in Halo, where you could do it like while you're in there, like when you're in the campaign. But
Ooh,
the
Just
new-
press select.
the hit boxes were wacky because they built over the.
Oh
old
yeah, there
game.
were so many bugs in it too. So
Yeah.
if you would
Yeah.
switch between
Oh,
the
so
Especially
they
in the
did-
ship, where they
It was
built
very
these
pretty, but
detailed walls
They did
and
it.
stuff.
They did it the quick kind of.
yeah.
It looks
lazy way.
great, or it looked great at the time, and then even Halo 2, whenever they did that with the Halo 5 graphics, I think that one looked amazing. And I'm waiting for that Halo 3.
I don't think the gameplay was so much Halo 5.
No, like the graphics. Like they were
Graphics.
using that same engine, I think, for Halo 2 because they had these incredible cinematics where you couldn't even tell what was like.
Oh no,
in the
those are
game.
just cutscenes. They did
Yeah.
all that separate.
But then the actual game, if you go and play it, it controls exactly like the second one did, as it should.
Yeah.
Because that's something that Halo's really good at, is sticking well with the old stuff, or 3 for 3. But when they make new shit, it's
That
not
was
great.
like when Call of Duty Zombies was just the only reason to play Call of Duty anymore. They keep taking old zombie maps and then remaking them with the newer weapons, the newer stuff. Like when Black Ops 2 took all the stuff from
You know a
World
lot
at
about
War and they put those first.
That's my home.
Bruh, I love it so much. Black Ops 1, Black Ops
I
2.
love it.
Black Ops 2 was the one I played the most with.
Was
friends.
Black Ops 3 the one with transit and all? Or was that
No,
two?
Yeah,
that's
that's
two.
two.
No,
That's two.
that 2 was
So
the
then it was
first.
Black Ops 1 where they put the original zombie maps on it. I was like,
You also got to remember World at War too.
World at
Yeah.
War.
That
Yeah.
was,
Because they took-
that was amazing.
That's
because
actually
that's when
one
they
I played
introduced it.
on the Wii.
And
Yeah. They didn't have any
It was-
perks.
I played the
Oh, yeah.
zombie mode on the Wii.
that's when. So I didn't get an Xbox 360 till almost the end of the Xbox 360.
So you got the little mini Xbox
Yeah.
360.
I had
one?
I had the
The
slim. Look,
rectangle.
is that
The
one
slim?
the touch one, the slim?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I
really?
got.
That's a nice
one
one.
I
that
got
does-
I had
one
the
that doesn't
Slim, but
red
I had
ring?
the Star Wars one.
The
That's
R2D2
what my brother
one.
had.
Yes.
My-
I
think
the
it's dope.
R2D2
The
one.
C3PO
That was-
controller.
Yeah.
That
Such
was-
a beautiful
I could-
system with such a crappy game.
So for me to get an Xbox 360,
game.
when I was in 8th grade, the Wii came out, and then it wasn't until my birthday I'd saved up enough money, and my parents said I didn't have enough money to buy the Wii and a game, and Brawl came out right around my birthday, and they paid for Brawl, and I bought the console, and then I saved up money to buy a 360, because I had saved up money to buy an Xbox, they didn't allow it. I wanted to buy a PS2, they didn't allow it. A Wii, they did, for some reason, and then an Xbox 360, they said hell no. And I was in high school, and it's like, but I saved up money. I went cut people's grass. I went bus at a restaurant.
I did things.
I worked. And they're like, you're not gonna. You can buy games for the game console you have. You're not gonna buy another game console because you're just gonna throw out the other one. I'm like, I have a 64 that I still go play with almost as much as I did my Wii.
Right.
And so 360, it was my parents went away for a weekend for their anniversary, and I went by my Xbox 360 at the GameStop that opened up down the bar.
And you got
Nice.
that ass torn up, didn't
No,
you?
they never noticed.
They never noticed.
They were just like, what? I'm like, yeah, I put a skin on my Wii. They were just like,
yeah, and it opens
they're
the
like,
Wow.
They're like, is that your Wii? And I'm like, yeah.
That's a different controller too.
That's because they didn't call it a Wii. They didn't call it. They just called it your game.
Oh.
And they were just like, that's your Nintendo right there. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's
my
what
Nintendo.
I had.
It's
My
my
That,
Nintendo.
that's how cool-ass your family was.
Yes.
Wow.
It was just a
My
Nintendo.
Nintendo 360.
My
Yeah.
Nintendo 360
yeah.
with Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
The controller's
My
different.
PlayStation Wii.
So then we have one that I'm excited to play, Trombone Champ.
Oh yeah.
Because-
no,
So-
no.
So I'm interested in that.
Because it's only a couple bucks. It's
It's
nice.
only
to know.
$15.
Is it the one where you drag? the
Yeah,
thing?
you
Yeah.
have dragon.
You have to-
Yeah.
Are they gonna let
It
you
just
mod
looks
it?
so
It
fun.
was-
I
it
want
was
to be.
download stuff
I want to
from
be
the
so
internet?
bad at it.
No, Nintendo's not gonna let you mod.
That's what I thought.
No,
You
no,
gave me
no,
as
no,
many
no,
things.
no,
Now
no,
there
no,
is
no.
there is a Wii U emulator and there is a Switch emulator already. That's how people were able to play
Tears.
Breath of the Wild as before it came out.
I heard
No, it
about
was
that.
Tears.
Tears.
Yeah.
Tears people were able to start playing it on PC 2 weeks early.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what? Wait,
I stayed
what's
off the
happening
internet.
here? Why? Are,
I stayed off the internet.
Yeah, no,
I
did too.
tried because all these freaking YouTube thumbnails of Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, how are you doing this?
You illegal. Legal. Ban. No.
The Tears was so good.
Mm.
I'm still on the
But
tutorial.
what
I was about to say.
But what
I
I want
still
is
love it.
I want a plastic trombone
You
for
want
my
that
Switch.
peripheral?
To play it. Yeah.
Oh
You play
yes.
trombone?
Yep.
Because they have like things like I watched someone play it. The Entertainer, that and the other. But if they don't have a moment where you get to play the Lanky Kong song from DK64,
Ooh.
so all the
I didn't think about that.
DK64, they were all musicians, which made me want to do music, and I wanted to play trombone because Lanky
origin
Kong was my
story.
favorite.
It's Chunky Kong on tuba.
So this is your origin story.
This is my origin story for music, and instead I played
trombone lore.
Instead, I played trumpet, and then I broke my arm, so I couldn't start on trumpet. And I was like, well, let me play trombone. He's like, you can't hold up a trumpet. How the hell are you going to slide something with an arm in a cast? So I played a baritone because it sat in your lap. So then I started on baritone, then switched to trumpet, then switched to French horn because trumpet was too easy.
Cool.
I was in middle school, and I got bored with music because I was like first chair and everything in 6th grade. And then the next year, I hopped on French horn because it was more challenging.
I should have played French horn. That's my favorite.
And then because
wind
John
instrument.
Williams got me on French horn too.
Yes.
Because
Actually, it wasn't John Williams that got me liking the French horn. It was Howard Shore for the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring.
Nice.
Because of this one little tidbit, and he talks about it also in the extended edition, the appendices. In the Council of Elrond, when Boromir starts to talk,
Oh,
about
right.
that you hear it in the background. That
Yes.
that's the only time you hear the Gondor
Horde of
theme
Gondor,
in
yeah.
any of the trilogy before Return of
that,
the
and
King.
then the Robin
And that was a
Hood.
French horn. It was beautiful.
The Robin Hood, I can't
a
remember
really
it.
good
And I have to
reference.
hear it because I don't.
Was
It's
it
not
Men in
that
Tights?
common.
Prince of Thieves.
Prince of Thieves. That
Yep,
one.
Kevin
The
Costner.
intro for it.
Tights.
Yep.
That was so. So we were gonna play it when I was in Wind Symphony in college, and there was only me and one other person that could play it. It was so hard, and it was also hard for everyone else. And our director was like, "Let's take a look at this. Let's look at it one more time, and we're gonna look at it next week." And when we came back for it next week, nothing was better. And when I tell you, I was writing. And he looked at the horn section, and he was just like, no. Because his thing was just, anytime something messed up, when he couldn't figure out what it was, he would just go, horns! And we're like, yeah, we probably f***ed up something. Somewhere in there, yeah, it was us.
Another one is
even if it was us,
Star Trek Next Generation.
Even if it wasn't,
That
it was
has
probably us.
that French horn. The Star Trek movies, especially the end of the William Shatner Star Trek V. They come in, they're singing row 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 your boat, and then here comes that French horn. I'm like, chills.
And then there was a guy, his name was Johann de May. He made the Lord of the Rings trilogy symphony.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't used in the movies. It sounds better than the soundtrack in the movies. But he made a symphony for Lord of the Rings, and it was so good. I've played bits and pieces from it. I never got to play it live, but we did play his Planet Earth Symphony, and that was fantastic. All right,
Nice.
moving on. Among Us, welcome to the Fungal.
What?
I'm kind of done with Among Us.
Yeah,
I'm done with Among Us.
I'm done lying to people, bro. I'm sorry. It makes me feel like shit whenever I have to lie to you guys.
What?
I lied. So
What are you lying about?
a lot.
Oh man.
That I
I'm sorry
care about
one thing,
Among
my
Us
mental
anymore.
health. All right, it's great right now. All right, no, but
Aw.
seriously, I love Among
Fools
Us.
feel better.
I love Among Us. Like I can't lie for shit. All right, I really don't lie. But when it comes to the game, I get really good at it because I'm like, oh, well, I was in the tech room, or I was in med bay, or I was in, I was doing it. And I'll list it
Dude,
off.
I was in medbay. So
I can bullshit
here's
myself.
the thing:
It's crazy.
is I would take whenever you were doing different tasks, I would time it according to Stars and Stripes Forever, because the beat for Stars and Stripes Forever is 120. Bum 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 bum. So when you half time it in your mind and you're doing only the downbeats of each measure, it's in 60, so it's exactly a 1 per second. So 1, da, da, 2, da, da,
I just say Mississippi.
So I would know what points to stop for
One
each
Mississippi.
task.
Mississippi.
So whenever you're transferring documents, there would be so many times where it's like, he stood at that thing for the exact amount of time you need to stand for a file transfer. I was like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And then I would be.
So you got good at the
I'll kill
line
him.
too. See, that's the thing is I just don't. I enjoyed the game, but after doing it like a million times, it's like, okay, well, guess I'll just lie to my friends again, you know. And then it's fun being the imposter. And they have another mode that I think that we're replaying that one.
Oh,
It was the
Oh, it says paper mark. Okay, sorry.
So it's a
Bro, really?
Yeah, for real. We better
We're all
listen
on
to
something.
this topic.
But
We branch off enough, all right?
But-
Let's-
but-
Let's get to
so
the
Among Us,
I
Love
wasn't
Among
branching
Us,
off, I was just speaking.
Love Among Us.
Sorry.
They're adding a new map. I haven't played Among Us in well over a year. The last time I played it, we had a group of friends after mass, got the priest to download it on his phone, and we played it. That priest tore us up. All right, because everyone's like, oh, Padre right here, he's not gonna lie to us, is he? No. He's like, listen, my children. This is a game. In a game, you can do whatever. In real life, if you lie to a person, you went into the theology of it a little bit. He's like, when you're playing a game, you can lie all you want. That doesn't make you a bad person. That's the point of the game. And if that brings fun, that brings whatever, that brings joy and all, then you're playing the game right. So he's like, if you lie in real life where you're actually hurting relationships, stuff like that, he's like, that's where it's a sin. In a game, free for all, man.
amen, bro. Like,
He's like,
hallelujah.
so he told us up. He was the person, and someone saw him do it, and they were like, I don't think it was him. Afterwards, they died to him. After they were like, yeah, I thought he did it, but also, I thought he would just give himself up. It's like, you dumb. What? Nah. This is Among Us. There is no mercy here. There is no friendships here. There's only sus.
In high
There's
school-
no us. There's only sus.
when it blew up in high school, dude, people would get so upset. And like, I think it did crush some friendships.
Yeah, I think the last time I actually played Among Us, like on my
Nah,
phone,
those
was,
children need to
like,
play
COVID.
Monopoly.
Yeah, then the 10th
2020,
grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Nah,
the
y'all
last
just
time
need to grow
I
up and
played
play Monopoly. You want to lose friendships? Monopoly.
That's why I don't
And
play
N60
Monopoly.
And
What
like
about
we
Sorry?
Mario Kart.
You're sorry? You were not sorry and
Y'all
sorry. I'm
never
sorry.
played that game? I'm
Bruh.
Sorry.
I'm-
Oh, sorry. Are Trouble? No, Trouble is
so many
worse than
fights
no.
because of Mario
No,
Kart.
sorry.
Wii.
It is.
It's Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry
exclamation
is,
mark.
Sorry's the Mario Kart of board games.
No. There's a Mario.
Smash Brothers.
There's a
was
Mario
like-
Party Monopoly, and that is the
about it.
Mario Kart of board games. Because you have coins and stuff, and you get coins, and every round people are just murking all your coins.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. We could play it after. But, alright, now, before we move on to our final thing,
Oh god.
something that should have been in the Direct that came out 2 days later was that they were bringing Kirby and the Amazing Mirror to NSO.
That's not
Finally,
GameCube?
after so long.
No, that's
it was Game
Game
Boy
Boy.
Advance. It was
Game
Game Boy
Boy
Advance.
GBA.
Now, the thing is, there were several versions of the game. Because when you look at the game on NSO, it shows the box later when nobody bought the game. They remade it so that you only needed one game pack to play it. I did not have that one. I had the one where you had to have 4 game packs to play it, 4 Game Boys, and 4 link cables.
Dang. That's a lot. You're gonna need a lot of people.
How
The
are you gonna
struggle
get...
was real back in the day. It was a struggle.
Listen, you got
I had
online
that.
stuff now.
I never had that
you
issue
joke.
for that game. I had that issue for Legend of Zelda: Four Swords Adventures.
Because
for the
you
Game
could-
Boy.
I was
Sit
the
in
only
a
that
circle.
I was
Okay,
the
so
only
Four
person in my
Sword-
friend group that had
Yeah.
four swords.
So if I'm
adventures,
correct,
I
Four
never
Sword,
really
you
got
could
I
not
just
play
played
the
Link to
game
the
without
Past.
4 links,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At least there was that on
No,
there.
it was different if you played with 4 links. Like, they would have different puzzles and that kind of stuff,
Oh.
or you would need 4 people to complete
Because
the
I had a
puzzle.
game that it wouldn't let me play it without multiple people.
Really?
Yeah. Right.
You sure you weren't
Yeah.
in the multiplayer mode?
It also had Link something DX on
They
it.
had a few
Link to
4
the Past
swords.
DX or something on it.
Right. They
Or
had a few
Link-
4
They had the
swords.
Link's
four, so they had the
Adventure
Four
2.
Swords
No,
adventure
that's
that
Four
came
Links. That's Four
Four
with
Links.
a
Sword
Link to the
had a
Past.
second Zelda
It was a
game on
Link
it.
to the Past.
Then they
From
made
the
Four
Past.
Swords Adventures by itself for the GameCube.
Yeah, which I also
Yeah.
had. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then
They redid them
I
a
think
few
Wind
times.
Waker's gotta be my favorite.
Oh, Wind Waker's my favorite
Oh,
too. I was about to
that's
even
my
say
favorite.
earlier.
Majora's Mask. And when we come to
Ooh,
Zelda
that
before Breath of
soundtrack.
the Wild, pre-Breath of the Wild Zelda, Majora's Mask.
That's where we disagree. I prefer Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina
all
of
day.
Time.
So
Oh
Ocarina.
man.
I have my enough existential crises in my
the-
life.
Look.
Playing Majora's Mask, that is no.
Majora's
I ain't
Mask
got
is
time
a
to deal with
good-
all you villagers' problems.
Majora's Mask is a good game. I'm not.
It is
I'm
a
not shitting on
great
it, but
game
the
and a
reason
great
I fell in
story.
love with the Zelda franchise was because Ocarina of Time was like the first kind of open world game I've ever played.
I can
And
agree.
I got lost in that world, exploring Hyrule and doing all kinds of stuff. And I spent so much time running around Hyrule Field trying to figure out all of its secrets. And when you get to Majora's Mask, it's like that ticking time where
See,
like you gotta do everything within so much time.
Yes.
And I was just like, I want to go explore Termina and everything,
So,
and I can't do it
that's-
because I have to do this. I have to complete these tasks. These people are gonna die if I don't do it. And I was just like, I was too
But
young to
that's-
have that much anxiety.
That's what I liked about it. I
Oh man.
liked the pressure of what was going on, and it wasn't until in Majora's Mask, there's a moment where you have to protect the farm. You do this whole line of events.
Oh, from the space
From the
aliens?
aliens. That's
Yeah.
the first time that I was close to a panic attack. I remember my heart beating out of my chest and practically hyperventilating because it took me so many times. Because even if one alien got to that barn, you had to redo this 2-hour long process. And when I tell you, I would get to it, and I could just hear my heartbeat in my head, and it's like,
Yeah.
and it's just like, don't let us single one, don't let us single one.
I have
It was
the
bad.
I have the GameCube version, like the collector's edition, where it has Majora's Mask on the disc,
That's it?
and yeah.
So I thought it was just Ocarina. and it
No.
was-
Oh, no.
No,
There was
there's
another one
two
that came.
different
There was
ones.
another one. The one
There's-
you're thinking of
The
came out
Master
when
Left Behind, yeah.
with Wind Waker.
Yeah, if you pre-ordered Wind Waker at Walmart or something, you got that as a pre-order bonus. Probably the best pre-order
It was
bonus
either
you could ever
Walmart or
get.
Toys R Us. It was one of the two.
Probably both, honestly.
Yeah.
But,
But that's the one that I had. I
The-
didn't have the Majora's Mask on GameCube.
the one I have, you got in a special GameCube box set, which I never got, but I used to.
It was Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. Didn't they have Link to the Past on there?
No, it has the first
was
two
another one.
from the NES,
Okay.
the original Legend of Zelda and Adventure of Link,
Pikachu.
and then Ocarina of Time and
Yeah,
Majora's
you're right.
Mask.
Okay.
And with the tail.
I got it because when I was in 7th grade, I used to do homework for my friends, and they would pay me in either money or GameCube games. Those were my conditions.
Huh.
And little Tim, there was this little kid named Ryan who gave me this Zelda game, and I was like, yes! I wrote an essay or something for him. Anyway, I had that game, and I also had an action replay, and I used the action replay to have.
Oh God, help him! Help him! Get up! Get him off!
Heal, boy, heal!
I'm sorry.
One irate iguana.
No.
Now, I do want to say one more thing about Zelda real
Jeez.
quick. I do think that Wind Waker is the best one. Wind Waker was my introduction to Zelda,
That was mine.
and
That was
I,
a good summer. Summer 2003 was a
and I
good
fell in love with
summer
it.
for me.
Which
it was
one?
my first love, Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker is my first love and only, I'm telling you.
But Majora's Mask, the thing with the transformations, you getting all those different gameplay styles, you get the timer, you get all these new Ocarina songs, Mask, the daytime,
I
the
do like
bosses.
the
I
little-
love
That one
the
would
frog
probably be your
man.
favorite too, to be honest.
That was pretty good.
Don Ghetto Mask.
Well, no, what I was gonna say though is I had an action replay for my GameCube,
Yeah.
and I used it to cheat Majora's Mask
Like,
on that
he's been
game
on the
disc,
tutorial
and I
island
did it to have
since
unlimited
purchase
time,
it, bro.
so I didn't have to worry about that. And
Okay. How long ago was that?
fully explored
6 months ago.
the
6 months.
Majora's Mask game, and it was a lot
Within a month
less
of that, it should have been beaten.
stressful.
already.
Dude, did
I
tell
enjoyed that a
them
lot more.
About, what's that goat man from Tears of the Kingdom? Like the
The
ram
goat
dude?
man.
Oh,
So-
King Ro.
So me and MJ were playing it for the first time. I bought it.
What was the name of the original King Hyrule? What was his name?
You know what I'm talking about? The
ghost?
ram dude. Or
The
the
ghost
ghost that
King of
talks to
Red
you.
Lions.
So I don't know why
No.
they did this. Nintendo did it on
What's
purpose.
his name? Enter
King Rome.
Ro.
Rome. Oh boy.
Mr. Hyrule.
Alright, so real quick. So the ghost that you talk to in Tears of the Kingdom.
Daphnis is the Wind Waker.
So you tell me
King.
why.
King of Red Lions.
You tell me why they started that camera angle from his ass. You tell me why.
Because he's got a nice ass.
Because so here's the best
Gotta
part.
They worked hard on
So-
those polygons.
Gotta
They gotta
celebrate
show them
the
off.
cake.
So when I tell you, MJ screamed when he saw it. He went, yeah, like that, and I was like, holy. And then,
Jesus.
and when it came up to the face,
Sorry, YouTube land.
when it came up to the face of the character,
I'm gonna compete.
you're gonna come in.
Dude, don't. No.
It was the instant regret.
King Raru.
King Rauru, that's his name.
Oh,
I'm telling you.
What?
Goat.
No.
There was something primal that came out of him.
I don't know
That's
why
why
I was thinking something.
He's the. Okay, that's
Wow.
the only thing I'm gonna say. But
It's also
in
the
Tears of
name
the
of a
Kingdom,
sage.
In this, yeah, I was gonna say in
Ocarina.
Ocarina of
So,
Time he's a sage.
Tears of the Kingdom, the first king to establish Hyrule is Rauru, that goat guy, and he's also the first sage of. And you
Zonai.
then you see where the sages
He was
came
a
from.
Zonai.
Okay.
Zonai, yeah. So Breath of the Wild has a lot of Zonai ruins, all that stuff.
That makes sense.
I believe in Minish Cap, the Zonai were in the sky. There was the sky people. I think they were Zonai. I don't remember, but they had
Something
they had
like
robots
that.
and magical powers.
Your boy has
Okay,
Paper
now
Mario.
we move on
We're in it.
to
We're in it now.
the grand showcase of this game that definitely proves in 2025 we are now getting the second Switch. I feel this list of games to be the next year of releases for Nintendo means that we're at the absolute end of
The Switch lifetime.
the Switch, and we're gonna get Switch 2 back in action.
Switch you.
The Switch U,
Two Switch for you.
Switch it.
31 FPS.
yeah,
Electric Boogaloo.
yeah.
Switch
They're
to
gonna
electric
switch it
boogaloo.
up in 2025. They're gonna announce it next year, release it in 25 for
Okay.
their holiday. Is what I'm thinking. I have never put in for a new console release. Every time I went on stream and made an official announcement for something, that company died.
Wow.
Wow.
Stop doing
So
that.
okay, so Toys for Bob, there was a bunch of leaks. So that Skylanders 7 was gonna come out. That Toys for Bob was making moves. Skylanders 7 was gonna come out. Within the month,
You killed Skylanders?
Toys for Bob
It's your
It's your
fault.
fault, my child.
laid off like
You
Wow.
personally did
So,
that.
so
Nothing
it,
wrong with that.
within the month,
Okay,
Toys for
I
Bob
remember
lays off over half of their staff, and they move to support Call of Duty.
Oh.
Then, whenever Mario and Luigi series, Dream
Team.
Dream something was the name.
It was
Team.
Dream Team. Dream Team.
Dream Team. I think the next Direct coming out next week is going to announce a new. They're either going to remake some of them for the Switch, or they're going to add a new Mario and Luigi RPG game because they
Yeah.
hadn't had anything.
See, they could totally
The
do
next
that.
week,
Oh, yeah.
the next week they announced their bankruptcy. No, 3 days later they announced bankruptcy.
Wah, wah, wah.
Then they remade Superstar Saga with.
Oh, that game is.
They didn't.
I love
re-
Super. I haven't.
Well, they remade it for the 3DS.
yeah, but
Now,
they
then they added it to the NSO.
And it was
got
also
some
on the Wii U.
It got some traction. Yes.
Yep.
It got some traction. So I think that with them having Paper Mario 64, they saw it had enough playtime. That's why they would never have remastered Paper Mario 1000 Year Door if Paper Mario 64 had no playtime on the N64 emulator on Switch Online. Then Mario RPG is getting a remake.
It only makes sense with the.
And then, because Mario RPG, since Scarlet, what is it? Square Enix.
Yeah.
Square Enix effed off with it and didn't allow them to have most of the characters in it. Nintendo said, well, we can make it better. And they made Paper Mario because they wanted to have pretty much a separate Mario universe where they could do whatever they wanted story-wise, lore-wise, and it not have any effect. That's why it was all in a storybook. That was the original Paper Mario thing.
Yep.
It wasn't really to draw any attention that it was paper. It was just, this was a story. This was made up. This was not any kind of canon lore for Mario. Each book can be its own separate thing. We have because Nintendo, their one thing is they don't want to ever have to tie themselves down to lore. Look at Zelda and how many times they've redone that timeline. They made the Zelda Historia.
No,
and
there's
then,
just 3 timelines.
no,
That's-
there's
yeah,
just
there's
there's
three.
iterations
There's 3
of the
of them.
timeline.
That's
no,
always
please,
how
no.
it's been. What are
Just
you
three
talking about?
iterations.
This,
Have you read
this is
the
not
Hyrule
no, We're not
Historia?
going to be that.
Come on
No,
now.
we're not doing that. We're
We
not doing
didn't
that.
make it up
We are
as
not
we
that
go.
YouTube show.
Come on now. This has always been the case.
No, they tried to say we have this big story plan.
Yeah.
The Hyrule Historia is going to show you what the actual.
Of course.
We have this lock box. We have a box. There's the box. FNAF has a box. Zelda has a box. In that box is the timeline of Zelda. It does not change.
It can though, and,
And then it did. Twice after they said that. Because they made the Historia and then now the timeline has changed twice on top of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom could be on separate timelines from each other
Well,
and on completely separate timelines
They
from
say
everything
that
else.
they say that all 3 of the timelines have converged into one timeline.
Which
now,
Hyrule
which I don't know how
Warriors-
that's possible.
Hyrule
but
Warriors
The
doesn't.
it's
dragon.
been so long
I
that
forget
Yeah.
what they call it. The dragon
What,
convergence.
one of the
or
things that
something.
That's
one
why
thing that
all
people
3
have said,
timelines
it's
kinda
kind of the
fall
theory
in.
of inevitability,
Just,
is that eventually everything's going to happen if you wait enough time.
Sure.
Eventually history's going to repeat itself. Things that didn't happen in one timeline are eventually going to happen. It's like, that's BS. Make an actual timeline, merge back the timelines, and that would be an insane game. Think about that. Because you had Hyrule Warriors, the one that came out for the Wii U, the Definitive Edition on Switch. That one combined all the timelines, and you actually had people getting ripped out of their timelines to fight Ganon, who his soul, to finally beat him and keep him separated, they took his soul out of his bound body and then split it into timelines, separated it into the 3 timelines that existed. That way, the timelines would forever be separate, and you couldn't do that except for this one sorceress who watches the timelines, falls in love with Link, and then splits herself in half because half of her became evil with greed for the love of Link, and then the other one was like, no, but I have my duty to keep the timelines in order and keep Ganon sealed away. So you
Don't
get
say anything bad about
Man, I
Ganon.
love Paper Mario.
now back to Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door.
He's right behind you.
Y'all have a favorite Paper Mario?
We don't have that immediately.
Yeah.
But we have
So-
Paper Mario Thousand Year Door,
I
which was
just-
my first Paper Mario game.
I just misread it and you said it. I was oh man.
But that was their big thing, which, after all the Paper Mario stuff, you had, after Thousand Year Door, they decided we're not going to have any original characters in Paper Mario anymore. You have Paper Mario, you can have a big bad, and everything else, if it's a Nintendo character already established, you can't give it a name, you can't give it a title. You can only, that's why in like Origami King, you had a Bob-omb that's just like, you can't give me a name, and they're like, we'll call you Bobby then. And then he offed himself because he was too original of a character.
Yep.
He did not have plot protection.
Last one I played was Super Paper Mario.
Had no
Super-
plot
Scott
armor.
Pilgrim.
For the Wii, I played a little bit of it, and Count Bleck looked super cool. And then
Whooped his ass.
yeah, I never beat it. I played a little bit of it.
What about Sticker Star? I think that was
I've
my
never
favorite
heard of that
one
one.
for the 3DS.
So
I never played that.
once you
Really?
once
I
you
don't know if it's-
move,
I don't know.
really,
I just
really
didn't
good.
play
see
it.
the problem is, have you ever played Thousand Year Door?
I have. When I was
And
younger, but like
Much younger.
Yeah.
But whenever you
I don't think
grow
I
to
played-
love
No, I didn't even play
the
Origami.
system and the mechanics of Thousand Year Door,
Thousand
and
Year
you
Door was
get
first
Sticker
last
Star,
one.
which is they said was the next iteration of Mario. Paper Mario was supposed to be the grand champion of Paper Mario.
Yeah.
And compared to Thousand Year Door, if I had never played a Paper Mario game, I would have been okay with it. Except the sticker mechanic was super aggravating.
Yeah, no, I get that.
They take this RPG, you have experience as you grow in levels, you get to have all your stickers that you have to collect in the wild. You have to explore for them. You have a game now that it's better just not to fight any of the enemies.
Yeah.
And then you move on to Paper Jam that combined the Mario and Luigi series and Paper
That
Mario.
one was really good.
That one was supposed to be really good. I never played it. I really want it. I want to get a 3DS just so I could play that game first. Out of everything that's on the 3DS. Then you have the paint one.
Color Splash?
Color Splash?
On the Wii U?
That
Color
was on the Wii
Splash.
U, yeah.
Never played it.
That was only slightly better than Sticker Star from Paper Mario fans' perspective.
But that got closer to Thousand Year Door, didn't it?
I
I remember them being lined up and you'd jump on
Not
them.
quite. It wasn't until Origami King that you got closer to that original idea.
Yeah.
But you still, one thing that a lot of Paper Mario fans didn't like is that you moved from the paper being an idea and like just kind of wear paper thing to it being the main draw of Paper Mario. Is that, oh, this is Mario, but he's made of paper. We have mechanics based around being made of paper. All the enemies in Origami King were scissors, tape, rubber bands. And people were like, what the hell is this? I had fun with it.
If you want to play something on the Switch that's closer to the original essence of Paper Mario, it's Bug Fables.
Bug
Yeah.
Fables! And then from Bug Fables, you got Outbound Ghost, which I haven't played that one.
I've heard of it, but I
not
haven't
until I
played that
get
one
the
personally.
physical Switch.
I
for
think these are indie games.
Yeah, they're both indie
I've
games.
never heard of these.
Bug Fables.
Bug Fables is really good.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Bug Fables is like a 1-for-1. This is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. It's the spiritual successor to it. You have the sticker mechanic. You have
But
the
they're bugs.
actual experience from battles, so it means something. That's the problem, is when you take an RPG and you take out the reason to fight. Why would you fight? So you can
Yeah,
get
wait.
more stickers to keep throwing stickers at more enemies. That's why people hated it. And then with Origami King, you didn't get experience and levels. You got coins. And that was it. And then by the end of the game, you had so many coins. Like, you could just... For the side quest where you had to go buy a bunch of stuff, it was literally just like, and bye. Go drop it off. That's it.
I have to play the new ones. The only Paper Mario I've played besides the Thousand Years Door is Super Paper Mario.
For the Wii.
And
Yeah,
Sticker
for the
Star.
Wii.
Sticker
Yeah,
Star.
and
was-
Sticker
I
Star.
don't know why. Like,
I never beat it.
grew up playing it, but
Yeah.
I never fully completed it because like I beat the entire game, but when I went back to the save file, it was like, oh, you only have 87.9% completed, and I was confused. Well, I was confused. So if you go back to the main area where, because you know, like Peach gets like kidnapped, like on the stage and stuff.
Not at all. But
Well, yeah.
I don't even remember it that well. I should tell you. I didn't even
Tracks
beat
for her
it.
character.
Well, basically, if you go back into the main area where everything happens, they'll have these little flag posts, but they're achievements. So, like, one's like, if you get all the stickers, if you get all the stars, if you beat every level 100%, if you get this many coins, you know, but they were all, like, extremely difficult.
So for Thousand Year Door, how true are they staying to the original? Is this
Well,
a remake? Is this a reboot?
this is this is a full remake.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to, as far as we know, you're not going to really change anything other than they might make it easier. Because like in Mario RPG, they're adding team attacks that are going to make it easier. But then they're also adding hard fights post-game.
Yeah, where you can get, like, one tap, basically.
Yeah, like some of them you will get one tap from attacks and you don't
I do
dodge it.
appreciate that kind of stuff from Nintendo with older games, like when they did 3D World and then they brought Bowser's Fury into it.
They just need to add achievements.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to. But we're a little sardined up in here. But
It's alright.
Nintendo just needs to bite the bullet.
I'm used to it.
Because Nintendo has this idea in their head, and they've said it before, that it's artificially padding time, and it's a cheap tactic, and they don't want people to have a goal when they play a game. It's just like, then
What's the point?
that's Animal Crossing. You don't want a goal
Yeah.
in a game? Go play Animal Crossing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All this does is add extra things for those people who want the extra challenges without you having to make an entirely different game mode for that challenge. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you need to go through this section without getting hit, or you need to go through this section without using a certain item. Things like that would be cool in Mario games, or in Pokemon especially. Like, oh, you need to beat this gym leader without using an attack that's super effective.
Yeah.
Or you can catch this many shiny, or you need to catch this many shinies or something. You
Yeah.
know, just
Like,
Sometimes they
you
have
complete
things like NPCs
steps-
in there.
steps
that
towards your
will
only like
congratulate
Switch
you.
game I can think of with achievements is probably Smash. I mean, really.
Smash?
Oh, yeah.
achievements.
Hyrule Warriors
Yep.
Definitive Edition had medals, and there's a lot of people who will put
Minecraft.
because a lot of games will put their in-system achievements, but then as a profile, it's cool to be able to go on Xbox and PlayStation where you can see your friends and if they've beaten and gotten that trophy. Because when I was younger on Xbox 360, we would talk smack and it's like, did you even 100% your trophies on that game?
No.
Did you get all your achievements on that game?
Shut up. No, you did not.
And then Gamer Score was something from Xbox that we would talk smack because I had one
Oh, yeah, I
buddy
still do it.
who his parents got him every new game that came out. He would play it nonstop until he got every achievement, everything in the game, and then he would move on to the next game and the next game. And he just had a library of games, and he just moved on, and that's all he did. Hundreds of hours a week, just playing Xbox 360, and his gamer score
Only
was
a
so
handful of
insane.
games that I
And so when
did
people
that.
would try to talk anything about Xbox, he'd just be like, beat it, played it, got the achievement.
There's only a handful of games that I can think of that I actually 100%ed the achievements for Xbox 360 games.
Did on Minecraft.
I did.
Few
all
of them were Star Wars games.
I did all the Skylanders games that I got all the
100%
trophies
Star
for.
Wars.
Halo Reach and
Yeah, me
Halo Anniversary.
been a while,
I
actually.
100%ed those.
Banjo
That's
Kazooie,
like the secret
Banjo
mode,
Kazooie,
so-
Banjo
Oh,
Tooie, and then all the
it was-
Skylanders
oh,
were the only
yeah.
things really that I did
Wait,
that
was it
for. I went that hand.
I,
Prototype.
Yeah, I'm actually proud of my game.
I
too.
100%ed both
That.
Force
7,000
Unleashed
Headaches
games
to do.
and I 100%ed Lego Star Wars 3, the Clone Wars one. I 100%ed that. Those are the only games I 100. Oh no, wait, King Kong.
Ooh.
For the 360.
Uh-oh.
That I 100% of that.
You retracted Anthony.
Wrong Kong! Wrong.
No, but going back to Thousand Year Door, that's where you lose. One of the biggest draws was that you had all these partners and they had different attacks, and so you could change up your play style with which partners you like to use. I think you could upgrade your partners as well in Thousand Year Door. I don't quite remember, but you had all these side characters that had their own side story, and they took that away after Thousand Year Door for whatever reason. And then it wasn't until Origami King that it got a little controversial, because the guy in charge of the development had an interview where he said, "We know people are saying this, but they don't know what makes a good game." Essentially, don't quote me on it, but he really insulted, just like Pokemon did in a lot of their interviews, where they insulted the player base of just like they're just grown people acting like children, and they're just like, they don't know what
It's a fight.
if they weren't game developers, then they don't know what a good game looks like. And it's like, I can tell you what a good game looks like. Yeah.
Halo.
Whenever we got Banjo-Kazooie,
My number 9.
yeah,
Play with my wallet.
Mighty Number 9 looks better than Pokemon games right now, to be honest. And that came out from an indie developer 10 years ago to become garbage because they kept trying to add too much. That was a tragic story. Kickstarter indie developers getting too big for their britches.
That was a really good direct, though.
Number 9.
This was a really good direct.
Oh,
this,
yeah.
This
Oh, yeah.
round.
It wasn't like
I
Smash
liked it.
Direct, but it was good.
Well,
Well, no, like
technically,
We have one final announcement.
technically, you got an announcement from Smash in it, and just seeing the Smash symbol, I was like,
Oh, here we
but
go.
it was during the Amiibo, so they were just like, oh, by the way, Smash update,
Here's a Sora amiibo.
Sora's getting an Amiibo, and then that was it.
and
No-
that is
no,
the last
no
amiibo.
flair, no nothing. It was just, here's the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Amiibo,
Yeah.
which I don't even know those characters because I haven't
I
finished
think
playing
they also
one.
showcased the Tears of the Kingdom amiibos.
They brought up the Tears of the Kingdom. They gave them an official date, and then they also said Sora is coming out sometime in 2024.
Yeah.
Oh, you waiting a while. Then.
I have.
And they do it in
I'm
order of
pre-ordering
the
it.
character roster. Kazi came out before Sora. Sora
Oh,
was
Sora was the
yeah.
last one? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was
Yeah,
Kazuya.
that's why in my whole lineup of Smash Amiibo.
Yeah, I
Blue-
noticed that he did it by the roster, and that's
Yeah.
really sick.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's
So eventually there's going to be one more case, because I'm going to put all 4 Game & Watches. I'm going to put
Can't see this.
the you can't see
Use
this.
your imagination.
You see it on stream all the time when the
Imagine
camera
the
was facing
Smash
that way,
roster on his wall.
because it's there. All the Amiibo are right
I
there.
promise it's
And
right
all
there.
of them are
Yeah,
next to
promise
it.
you.
The source? Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm also, they have the STL files for all the Koopalings, so I'm gonna print out all the Koopalings, paint them, and then either I'm gonna put them alongside Bowser Jr. or I'm gonna put them in that bottom box with and then I'm gonna get a Cuphead and a Majora's Mask.
Is that a Sans amiibo?
Yes.
I've never seen
And
that.
it
So
works.
Fangamer.
We'll get into that another time.
It's not official. Fangamer
Okay.
made the little figure, so I got Frisk up here somewhere, a little further back. I got Frisk and Sans because I 100%ed Undertale. Then I was like, I'm just gonna rip him off his base, which he wasn't connected in the first place, and then just glue him to a Smash base, put an NFC chip in there, and program it to be
Like a.
a Mii fighter
Wow.
Yeah.
with his skin and skill set. So essentially, it's a Sans amiibo.
That's really cool.
Which I was disappointed when they didn't do the Geno skin. They just gave him his outfit from Smash 4 instead of giving him a reskin. And he's just like, why are we talking about this? Why are we still talking
What
about
killed
it
me
now?
is when I saw Doom Guy get announced as
Oh,
a Mii
yeah.
costume. That really hurt.
That hit you in the feels.
Yeah, because I wanted either him or Master Chief.
Yeah, at least.
They swear Doom
yeah.
Guy's coming to Mortal Kombat. They've been saying that for years.
If he goes to Mortal Kombat,
Thanks,
I'm gonna
bro.
start coming over to your house more.
Alright, bro. It's a water bottle.
It's a ball.
But we're gonna wrap things up here because I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it was a really good direct. It was a really good direct, and I'm excited for the games that are coming out.
Yeah.
That I don't even know. I'm at a loss of words right now because I'm more excited than anything for like RPG, Thousand Year Door.
We
But
got
even the
Funky
Peach
Kong
game.
toys.
We got
We got-
Funky Kong
we
and
got-
Diddy Kong.
We got
Oh,
Funky
yeah.
Kong mode in
Diddy.
Mario Kart.
I'm psyched. I'm being
Mario
honest.
Kart Funky Mode.
Just so I can whip y'all's asses.
You know
in
what's
Donkey
sad?
Kong.
I modded my Mario Kart 8, and I put Pauline over Peach, and a new direct comes out. I'm like, wow, this is great. Mario Kart 8. Okay, we got Diddy, we got Funky Kong.
Pauline.
The lineup was amazing, and it was like Peachette. I'm like, are you serious? We need
Yeah,
another
that
Peach.
was like.
Did they put Petey Piranha in there?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Is he now playable, or is still waiting?
Well, he was introduced with
Double Dash.
Kamek. Like when I'm talking about like in terms of
Kamek
like
is in the
Kamek.
game. He's in the game. I played
Yeah,
as him.
I don't know how to say it.
How do you say his name?
Kamek.
I never learned how to
Kamek.
say
It's
it.
Kamek.
Kamek.
It's Kamek.
Kamek, whatever you
Yeah.
want.
He has another name
He has
too,
the Tinkerbell
right?
powers and shit.
Huh?
Doesn't he have another name?
In Japanese,
Kamek.
he does.
Yeah.
Evil
I'm pretty
witch.
sure.
We're just gonna call him Magic Koopa.
Yeah, it was Magic.
That's the
Koopa.
original one.
Magic
was.
Koopa.
Before
Yeah,
they
I knew he
made
had
him
like
a-
another
It was
name.
Magic
Before he
Koopa
was
and
made
they
to
were-
actually
Wait,
be a
his name's
character.
not Cody?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, it's supposed to be Cody.
Mario Movie 2. I need some Kamek lore.
Well, they do have lore.
Koopas.
His real name is Cody. I can't
Yes,
say.
I am.
Cody. His name is Cody.
His name is Cody. If you watch a YouTube channel called Super Mario Logan,
Nah,
I'll tell you
no,
all about it.
no. Stop bringing that garbage up.
it's funny garbage. That's the best
Cody
part.
the Koopa.
It's like the
Might
Tenacious
as
D
well
movie.
be-
It's shit, but it's funny.
Might as well be YouTube poop at this point.
Nah, don't get. Okay,
It's
I
a
wouldn't
good
compare.
movie.
I wouldn't compare
The
us
plot
to
is
Tenacious D.
awful.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like.
yeah.
No,
No.
it's not.
Young
It's a
and
good movie.
Cookie
Look,
Taco in the town of
you
Kickapoo.
started
I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of Tenacious D. I like Tenacious D.
Me too.
They were,
But the movie, it's funny as hell. And that's what carries you through the movie.
they're just both silly passion projects.
Yes.
Meatloaf is his dad.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, dude, I'm not saying those
Dio
parts
is
aren't
his
great.
spirit
His
animal.
idol,
Yes.
his awakening. I
This is a
suppose.
good movie.
So, after an hour and a half of talking about that Nintendo Direct,
We got
that came out
Tenacious D.
2 weeks ago.
Smash it to Tenacious D.
So, good Nintendo Direct. My thoughts are that they are bringing back the Mario RPG stuff.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I really want all that stuff brought to Switch so I could play it. The Bowser's Inside Story, Bowser Jr.
Yes.
story,
Best
all
one.
that, all that
Yes.
extra
Bowser's
nonsense.
Yes.
stories.
Because I loved Mario and Luigi. Superstar Saga was fantastic. The Partners in Time, fantastic. And I never touched any of the other ones because they all came out for 3DS or later. And except maybe the Inside Story. I don't know.
Inside Story
But
got
any of the
re-released.
remakes got put on 3DS or later. So I'm hoping that they decide to buy Dream Team and then actually incorporate them into the fold with Nintendo is what people wanted them to happen. Wanted them to become a second party to Nintendo,
Yeah.
like they pretty much already were. But
Mhm.
actually put them into the fold and make them Nintendo, use them, not lose them,
Right.
which they didn't.
Don't abuse them.
Now it wasn't as big a deal as Rare was. I think Rare was where Nintendo made the biggest screw up in history.
Did
But-
Microsoft buy Rare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
'cause-
did.
So Nintendo wouldn't, and Microsoft was the only one that went for them.
That's why Xbox
Nah,
back in
Amazon
the
did
day
too.
got the remake, got
Pretty sure.
the remaster for Conker's Bad Fur Day.
And
Yeah.
Banjo, right?
And
Didn't they
no
keep
one
going
else
with
did.
Banjo?
Because
Banjo
you had,
kept going
so you
with
had a
Banjo.
Donkey Kong racing game. You had another Donkey Kong 3D game. You had another Banjo Kazooie that was in development.
Because I'm not gonna grab this little dude right here. I am waiting passionately for
I
this
don't think
guy
I
to come
ever
back
offered.
into our lives.
I don't
This
think
is
they
this is
are.
Conker.
Even if they just do another
Like-
liver and more reloaded or reloaded-er.
Like a redo again? Like
Did
a redo?
they?
Liver. If they do a liver and reloaded-er game,
Because that's the redo.
just
for
to bring it
Xbox.
up to
Yeah,
1080p.
for the Xbox.
at
They have
least.
demos of it. Have you seen it? They've
remember that.
messed with the idea of Conker coming back.
Because
and
they did the
stuff.
whole
Well-
they did the whole D-Day thing against the Teddies.
What happened was Live and Reloaded happened, and then they announced Conker was coming back, and it was with that
That was
Microsoft Surface thing, AR. Y'all remember that thing? It died out. It did not get.
I
out.
remember what you're
Oh,
talking
the
about.
But-
Kinect? You're talking
No,
about?
Not the
There
Kinect.
was something other than that.
It was
where-
like an AR thing that.
And
that
Conker was the main character, but he
Yeah.
looked like he had gotten hit by a bus, put back
He
together.
had a bad fur day.
No, he looked like Sid the Sloth is what he
very
looked like.
bad fur day.
He looked like Sid the Sloth from Ice
Yes.
Age.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane. But
Atrocious.
I think that, and then that within the next year, they're going in 2024. They're going to announce the Switch 2 are the next Nintendo console in 2025. Other than that, it was a good direct. I ain't got complaints. I think the Switch is at the end of its life. I'm excited for everything coming out. I still haven't even played Pikmin 4, and that was what I've been most excited for probably all year.
Yeah.
But other than that, y'all have a fantastic time. Until next week, we got AJ, Tim, myself, Bill, McGuire, and Anthony. You can catch them on the Wet Blankets on TikTok. You can catch me, the Music Pro, on Twitch, Twitter, and the YouTubes. So we will see y'all next time. Have a good one. And
Ta-ta.